The city shrouded in darkness is like a sleeping giant, with neon lights flashing between high-rise buildings, reflecting countless tired faces. Lin Fan huddled in a small rental house, the blue light of the computer screen reflected on his pale face, and the sound of typing on the keyboard was like rapid breathing. He stared at the data flow of the surveillance software. The firewall of the bank system was being cut by an invisible sharp blade. Damn, it's those black net guys again. Lin Fan muttered to himself, his fingers flying, trying to track the intrusion signal. As a well-known underground hacker, he thought he could make some extra money, but he didn't expect that his target tonight would be the core server of the largest bank in the country. On the screen, transaction records collapsed like an avalanche, and billions of funds evaporated in an instant. Suddenly, an encrypted channel popped up in the window, and the screen switched to a secret underground laboratory. The camera panned, showing several figures wearing masks surrounding a helmet with a flashing blue light. The helmet looks very much like a VR game device on the market, with circuit patterns engraved on its surface. The buzzing electromagnetic field fills the air with the pungent smell of ozone. Chief, the test was successful. The mind-reading module has been implanted in the target's brain waves. These political and business elites will become our puppets. A hoarse voice sounded, the camera zoomed in, and a man in black robe turned around, his face hidden in the shadows. It was Xiao, the leader of the Black Network. His eyes were like cold blades. Very well, paralyzing the bank is just an appetizer. Next week, electromagnetic pulse will reduce the entire city to ruins. Lin Fan's heart suddenly shrank and his fingers froze on the keyboard. This is no ordinary hacker attack, this is terrorism. He hurriedly typed the code and tried to record the scene, but it triggered the other party's anti-tracking. The computer sounded a sharp alarm and the screen flashed red, intruder is being located. In the underground laboratory, a masked man suddenly turned his head, there is a little mouse. Activate electromagnetic interference. Xiao sneered, and a dazzling arc suddenly erupted from the helmet, and a blue-white electromagnetic field surged out like a tide, rushing along the network line in the direction of Lin Fan. In the rental house, the lights suddenly went out, and the smell of burnt plastic erupted in the air. Lin Fan's computer host was smoking, and electricity was crawling all over the walls like crazy worms. He felt as if his head had been hammered, and his vision was blurry. No. He rushed towards the door, but heard screams from downstairs, the elevators in the entire building stopped, and residents smashed the doors and roared. Damn, what the hell is this? Neighbor Lao Wang poked his head through the crack of the door with a look of horror on his face. Lin Fan, your house is on fire. Run. Lao Wang is a retired programmer. He usually laughs at Lin Fan for being a keyboard warrior and eternal loser. But now his voice is trembling and his eyes are as wide as copper bells. Oh my God, the wires are dancing. This city is going to end. Lin Fan gritted his teeth, his mind buzzing. He stumbled into the stairwell. The hall downstairs was a mess, with crowds jostling each other, and the air was filled with the smell of sweat and panicked gasps. Notifications from the bank app popped up like crazy, the system is down, balance inquiry failed. A man in a suit slumped on the ground and muttered, my money is all gone, the dark web, those monsters. Monster? The laboratory helmet flashed through Lin Fan's mind. According to rumors on underground forums, superpowers are hidden in cities and are classified from E to S. Level E can control electric current in a small area, and level S can destroy the world. The Black Web is the nest of S-class superpowers. They use mind-reading helmets disguised as VR equipment, read memories, and control elites, and plan electromagnetic terrorist attacks. Ordinary people are like ants and will never know the truth. He staggered to the street, where the night wind mixed with the smell of burnt wires hit his face. The surrounding vehicles lost control and collided, flames shot into the sky, and passers-by screamed and scattered. A young girl rushed to him and said, "Brother, help me. The phone battery is out of battery and my family can't be contacted." Her eyes were red and swollen, and her voice was trembling. Lin Fan pushed her away and suddenly felt a sharp pain in his head, like an electric current piercing his nerves. The residual electromagnetic field from the experimental helmet actually entered his body along the network. He knelt on the ground, countless data streams appeared in his field of vision, and the blue electromagnetic field wrapped around his arms like tentacles. His heart was beating wildly, and he felt something awakening in his body, electromagnetic power. Ah! He growled, the air around him was distorted, the street lights exploded, and fragments fell like rain. The girl screamed and backed away, monster. Your eyes are glowing. Her companion's eyes widened and he stuttered, is this an E-level power? No, it's impossible, he looks like an otaku. Lin Fan gasped and stood up, clasping his palms, and a blue electric arc appeared in his palms. He stared at the ATM machine on the street, which was still spitting out invalid notes. With a thought, the electromagnetic field invades the body like an invisible hand, the screen flashes, and the backdoor data of the banking system pours out. Successful. He murmured, and the structure diagram of the black network edge server appeared in his mind. Passers-by gathered around, and a fat old man rubbed his eyes. Boy, what did you do? The ATM is listening to you. Oh my God, is this a movie? The girl's companion's cell phone suddenly regained signal, and he trembled, the signal is back. He repaired the network. Lin Fan ignored it and had already hacked into the black web server in his mind. Images flooded in, Han Zhao's image emerged. He was wearing a mind-reading helmet and controlling the memories of dozens of political and business elites. 3 days later, a large-scale electromagnetic pulse will be launched, paralyzing electricity, transportation, and pacemakers. The city will fall, and we will dominate the new order. Deep in the server, E-class superpowers were as busy as ants, and S-class Han Zhao's figure was blurred, exuding an aura of destruction. Damn it! Lin Fan withdrew his power, sweat dripping from his forehead. This is an S-level conspiracy. How can he fight as a newly awakened guy? Passers-by were shocked, his eyes just flashed with blue light, and the ATM came to life. Superpowers. Call the police. The police siren sounded, and the crowd dispersed, leaving behind eyes of admiration and fear. He fled back to the rental house in embarrassment. The house was filled with smoke and the host was turned into scrap metal. Sitting paralyzed on the ground, Lin Fan felt that his powers were rushing through his body like a torrent. He could control electromagnetic fields to invade any electronic device, and even read residual memories. Is this a miracle or a curse? The doorbell suddenly rang. Lin Fan stood up alertly and looked through the peephole to see an unattended package lying at the door. He put on his gloves and picked it up. There was no sender in the package. A metal badge shimmered inside, shaped like an undercover ID, with Government Secret Service engraved on the surface. What the hell? He hesitated, the dark network's terrifying plans echoing in his mind. Turning on the badge, blue light scanned his irises, and an encrypted message was projected in the air. Lin Fan, the electromagnetic awakener has been confirmed. The S-class threat from the black network is about to break out. Use the undercover badge to sneak in, otherwise. The message stopped abruptly, the badge buzzed, and the screen switched to a city map. Red dots flashed across the city, the scheduled explosion point of the electromagnetic pulse. Lin Fan's hands trembled. He pressed the activation button, the badge melted into his skin, and a warm current flowed into his body. At this moment, a black shadow flashed outside the window, and a blue light from a mind-reading helmet shone directly. Boy, you've been exposed. Han Zhao's voice echoed in his mind like a ghost. Welcome to join the game, otherwise the city will fall, starting from you. Lin Fan's heart sank to the bottom, the electromagnetic field around him went crazy, the lights shattered, and the night sky arced like a dragon. He knew there was no turning back. Lin Fan took a deep breath, and the electric arc danced like a living thing on his fingertips. He suppressed the violent electromagnetic current in his body and smashed his fist against the wall. The sound of cracking cement echoed in the smoky rental house. Outside the window, the black shadow disappeared like a ghost. Han Zhao's laughter was still echoing in his head. The smell of ozone was as strong as burnt rubber, making his stomach churn. Game. I'll play with you. He growled, the undercover badge under his skin felt slightly hot, and the red dots on the projected map pulsed. The nearest black network peripheral stronghold was in an abandoned warehouse area 3 kilometers away. He grabbed a shabby hoodie, put on sunglasses, and pretended to be a street hacker. In the mirror, his face was as pale as a corpse, and his eyes were faintly blue. He had to control himself. Passers-by had already regarded him as an E-class superpower who wanted to pretend to be a pig and eat the tiger. In the stairwell, Lao Wang was still lingering at the door, sweating profusely. When he heard the footsteps, he turned his head sharply and was shocked. Lin Fan. You are not dead. That lightning just now, you became a Superman. Lao Wang's voice trembled like a fallen leaf in the wind, and his usually sarcastic fat face was now twisted into a mixture of fear and admiration. Boy, don't leave me, those monsters in the black network will come to kill. Lin Fan glanced at him, and with a gentle sweep of the electromagnetic field, Lao Wang's door lock automatically locked with a click. Shut up and pretend nothing is wrong. He dropped these words and rushed into the night. The sirens on the street were piercing, and the burnt-out vehicles exuded a stench like burnt flesh. Passers-by crowded in front of their mobile phones, and cheered when the screen turned on. The signal is back. That blue-eyed guy saved us. An OL girl pointed at his back, her eyes widened. He is the one who repairs the ATM. E-level superpower, so handsome. Lin Fan lowered his head and walked quickly, sneering in his heart, handsome. When the S-class electromagnetic pulse comes, you won't even be qualified to be handsome. The taxi driver's nose twitched when he saw him getting into the car. Boy, you smell of burnt wires. Are you going to the abandoned warehouse area? That place is infested with black networks. Are you looking for death? The driver's eyes glanced from the rearview mirror, full of confusion and vigilance. His hands clenched the steering wheel, and his knuckles turned white. Lin Fan didn't reply. The badge projection appeared on the black network peripheral forum. He touched the air with his finger, and the electromagnetic field invaded the driver's mobile phone, and forged a low-level hacker ID, Electric Rat Boy. An invitation popped up on the forum, new blood. Prove yourself and come to the warehouse to report. Lin Fan lowered his head and pretended to be cowardly, and the electromagnetic field in his heart was ready to go. He knows that these little minions usually bully newcomers, and the harder they suppress them, the stronger the backlash will be. Iron Fist stepped forward and kicked over the iron bucket. The oil splashed with a pungent smell. He grabbed Lin Fan's collar and smiled ferociously. I heard that your eyes will turn blue. Come on, let me show you. Otherwise, I will first put you in a water prison and torture you with electric shock. The younger brothers gathered around and squeezed their fists until they crunched. A bald man said slyly, the leader said that the new peripheral blood must be inspected. This kid will be useless at first sight, just throw it into the river and feed it to the fish. Their ridicule was like knives, the smell of sweat and smoke mixed in the air. Lin Fan felt that the superpowers in his body were like a volcano, erupting at any time. Just when the Iron Fist hit, the badge in Lin Fan's head buzzed, and the projection camouflage mode was activated. He pretended to be frightened and backed away, his step staggering. Don't fight, I have the data from the mind-reading helmet. As soon as these words came out, the whole place fell silent. Iron Fist narrowed his eyes. Mind-reading helmet? The leader's S-class artifact. Where did you get it? The younger brothers looked at each other, and the bald man murmured, impossible, that thing is disguised as VR, only for the inner circle elites. Lin Fan took the opportunity, and the electromagnetic field quietly poured out, wrapping around Iron Fist's head like invisible mist. He closed his eyes and pretended to be wearing a helmet. A blue light flashed in his palm, and Iron Fist's brain waves were instantly invaded. The warehouse area is like a cemetery, with rusted iron doors creaking in the wind, and the air filled with the smell of machine oil and mildew. Lin Fan pushed the door open and walked in. The dim light bulb flickered, revealing a dozen guys in masks smoking cigarettes around a dilapidated server. The leader was a bearded man, nicknamed Iron Fist, an E-class enhanced physique superpower. He spat and glanced at Lin Fan. "Hey, the new electric rat boy. Look at how useless you are. What's wrong with the bank? Did you fix it?" The boys around laughed, and a skinny monkey-like guy poked Lin Fan on the shoulder. "You're a loser. It's okay to hack into the small forum on weekdays, but this is a black network. Kneel down and call me, or the electromagnetic cannon will kill you." Iron Fist's body froze, his eyes bulging out, as if he saw a ghost. Why do you have the leader's voice in your head?" His voice changed from deep to sharp, and his legs went weak and he knelt down. The younger brothers around him said, "What's wrong with the boss? His face is as white as paper. Electromagnetic interference. This kid has superpowers." Lin Fan looked inside Iron Fist's memory. The map of the Black Network stronghold emerged, and the 3-floor underground laboratory, the prison room for captured hackers, and the electric shock device in the water prison were clearly visible. It turns out that Iron Fist had just tortured a traitor, and the hacker had the backdoor to the server. Lin Fan opened his eyes and sneered, "Master Iron Fist, have you finished drawing the map?" He flicked his fingers, and the electromagnetic pulse shook slightly. Iron Fist foamed at the mouth. "The map is, in, server area B, save me." The younger brothers backed away, and the thin monkey stammered, he read the boss's mind. The eyes flashed with blue light, like a helmet activated. "Monster. E-class can't be that strong." The bald man pulled out his gun, his hands shaking like a sieve. "Shoot. Kill him." But with a thought, Lin Fan's gun barrel exploded with an arc, and the smell of gunpowder hit his nose. The bald man screamed and shook his hand. "Hot. My hands are melting." Iron Fist got up and roared, "Kill him." His younger brother pounced on him, but Lin Fan didn't panic. The badge provided a projection of a camouflage prop. An invisible earphone popped out. He put it into his ear, and his voice changed. "I'm an electric rat boy, just a low-level hacker." But the superpowers in his body were fully charged, and he clasped his hands together and roared, "Pulse." A blue and white electric arc erupted like a tornado. The lights of the stronghold went out, the servers whined, the security system was paralyzed, and the siren shrieked briefly and then died silently. After the ionized smell in the air was as strong as a lightning strike, the younger brothers twitched and fell to the ground. Iron Fist glared and murmured before falling, This is the disguised S-class, leader, help." The whole place panicked and screamed. Lin Fan rushed to the server, the electromagnetic field invaded like tentacles, and the map data was downloaded. At the same time, he scanned the water prison surveillance. A thin hacker was hung up by iron chains, with burn marks all over his body and dying. "Hold on." Lin Fan murmured, the pulse spread, the lock of the water cell door snapped, and the hacker fell to the ground and coughed up blood. Who are you? The traitor of the Black Network?" The hacker looked up, his eyes widened, and the smell of burnt flesh filled the air. "Wait, there's something wrong with your electromagnetic field, it's too precise. It's not like E-class." Lin Fan was stunned, and the memory came back. His childhood playmate was always protected by him, and now his eyes were as firm as a knife. "Yuyan. Why are you here?" She gave him a disguise necklace, put it on to hide the power fluctuations. "Your electromagnetic field just went crazy, and the Black Network tracker has been locked." She glanced at the people who fell on the ground, her pupils narrowed. "Oh my God, you paralyzed the entire security network." Iron that scumbag Fist tortures newcomers every day, but no one dares to fight back. "Brother Fan, you have changed, you are frighteningly strong." Her voice was trembling, her fingers touched his arm lightly, and she felt the residual electric arc. Her cheeks turned red. This is not E-level, this is, at least A-level. Pretending to be a pig and eating a tiger, cool. Lin Fan helped the hacker up and rushed to the back door. At this moment, a figure flashed out from the shadows, a slender wrist flashed with silver light, and the camouflage spray was sprinkled. The memories of Iron Fist and others were instantly blurred. "Brother Fan, it's me." A clear female voice sounded. Lin Yuyan took off her mask. Her childhood sweetheart's pretty face was pale under the blue light. She was wearing tight-fitting black clothes, and her undercover badge flashed slightly around her waist. "Intelligence expert, Lin Yuyan. The government secret service sent me to monitor the periphery of the black network. You were exposed too quickly." The hacker coughed. "Come on, there are S-class patrols inside." The three of them rushed out of the warehouse, the night wind howled, and police sirens approached in the distance. Lin Yuyan whispered as she ran, "Yi Ji, the government agent has been targeting you. She provided the badge, but she suspected that you were a double agent. Be careful, her subordinate Jiang Chen is a physique-enhanced madman who can break walls with one punch." Lin Fan's heart sank, and the electromagnetic field sensed the rear. The black network drone was buzzing and approaching, and the infrared scan locked them. Tracking the signal. Lin Yuyan's face turned pale and she pulled him into the alley. Han Zhao's mind-reading helmet has read the remaining memory of Iron Fist. You exposed the internal map. At the entrance of the alley, drones swooped down, electromagnetic guns charged up, and the blue light was dazzling. Lin Fan stopped, and Yuyan exclaimed, "Brother Fan, don't fight." But he turned around, and the electric arc condensed in his palm, disguised as a helmet. "Look at me." The pulse burst, the drone fell like a firefly, and the explosion flames illuminated her wide eyes. This is the ultimate disguise. How many memories have you read? The black network is going crazy. They got into the sewer, where the stench was overwhelming and the water was gurgling. The hacker gasped, "Thanks, brother. My name is Xiao Li, and I have a backdoor code for you." Lin Yuyan held Lin Fan's hand tightly and said in a low voice, "I swear to keep it secret. Only I know your secret. But Yi Ji's tracking badge is under your skin. Within 3 days, before the big pulse of the black network, we must join forces." In the distance, there were heavy footsteps, and the black network team was approaching. Han Zhao's sneer echoed in his mind, "Electric Rat Boy, the game has been upgraded." In the sewer, sewage gurgled like blood, and the smell of rotting feces penetrated the nose. Lin Fan took the lead and ran wildly, splashing dirty water with his footsteps. Behind him, the boots of the black net team thundered, the red dots of the laser sights bounced on the walls, and the air was filled with the hum of electromagnetic interference. Xiao Li was panting like a bellows, and his thin body swayed. "Brother, the backdoor code can hack the middle-level servers, but they have S-level shielding. The tracker locks on your electromagnetic residual wave and cannot escape." Lin Yuyan clenched her silver teeth, her black clothes soaked close to her body. Outlining the exquisite curves, she grasped Lin Fan's arm tightly, her fingertips were cold. "Brother Fan, the middle-level stronghold is 3 kilometers away from the sewer, on the 2nd floor underground. Iron Fist's memory shows that high-value prisoners are held there. We fight back and paralyze their tracking network." Lin Fan's blue eyes flashed, and the hot projection of the undercover badge appeared under his skin, a red vein map. The middle-level strongholds were like cancer embedded in the heart of the city, and the server core was pulsing with black network data flow. "Counterattack, now!" He roared, and the electromagnetic field spread like an invisible giant network, touching Xiao Li's phone, and the backdoor code was instantly injected. The pursuing drone swooped down in the distance, its muzzle blue light charging, and Yuyan screamed, "Coming!" An electric arc exploded in Lin Fan's palm, and the pulse whipped the air. With a pop sound, the circuit of the drone burned out, and it fell into the water and exploded with sparks. The smell of burnt plastic hit your nostrils. The roars of the younger brothers echoed, "Electric Rat Boy is in the sewer. Block the exit." Lin Fan's eyes flashed with blue light, and the supernatural powers within his body were awakened like a beast. He knew that this was just the beginning, and the whirlpool of urban crisis was swallowing him up. The middle-level stronghold is hidden underground in an abandoned shopping mall. The entrance is disguised as a parking lot. Behind the iron gate are patrolled by a dozen gangsters with wolf-like eyes under their masks. Lin Fan and the other three pretended to be desperate hackers and stumbled forward. Xiao shouted, "Tekken, let us report. There are clues to the mind-reading helmet." The guard leader was a scarred man with a D-level fire power, nicknamed Burning Wolf. He blew out smoke rings, flames jumping on his fingertips, and glanced at the three of them with a sinister smile. Iron Fist. That loser was just stunned and sent to the hospital. What wimps are you, Electric Rat Boy with 2 oil bottles? Kneel down and search. The thugs roared with laughter. A tattooed man kicked over the trash can, and the smell of rotten vegetable leaves rose into the sky. Look at this woman, with her delicate skin and tender flesh, sold on the black market. Boy, are her eyes blue? Lin Yuyan lowered her head and pretended to be timid. Fenlang stepped forward and grabbed her chin with a rough hand, hot breath spraying on her face. Childhood sweetheart. Intelligence bitch. Leader Han said, "New blood inspection." Flames shot up from his fingers, and the hot air twisted. Lin Fan clenched his fists, and the electromagnetic torrent in his body surged. He suppressed his desire to rise, and backed away pretending to be frightened. Brother, spare your life. We have Iron Fist. Fragments of the map. Xiao threw out the fake data chip, and the thugs surrounded him with fists and kicks. The tattooed man kicked Lin Fan in the abdomen. He deliberately spurted blood and fell to the ground, muttering, it hurts to death." Fenlang laughed, his voice like sandpaper grinding iron. "Trash. Drag him into the torture room, wait for him in the electric shock water prison. The leader's mind-reading helmet is waiting to read your brains." They were escorted to the second underground floor, with blood-red lights, numerous iron cages, and the smell of blood and burnt electricity in the air. More than a dozen superpowered thugs gathered together, ridiculing, E-class electric mouse. The loser who repairs the bank's ATM. The woman is warming my bed, and the little hacker is chopping off my hands. Fenlang grabbed Lin Fan's hair, and the flames were close to his eyes. "Tell me, how did Iron Fist die? The leader has locked onto you, and the mind-reading helmet has scanned your brainwaves." Lin Fan lowered his head and trembled, sneering inwardly. The electromagnetic field filled the air quietly like mist, and the camouflage necklace covered up the fluctuations. The memory path of the middle-level boss appeared in the badge projection. Han Zhao's plan was hidden in Fenlang's mind. They turned into the branch road, and the iron gate blocked the road. Lin Yuyan sprayed the spray, disguised as rusty debris, and pushed lightly with the electromagnetic field, and the door lock clicked. The three people got out, the night rain poured down, the broken glass of the street lamp reflected the neon light, and the passers-by screamed and scattered. Lin Fan put on the camouflage necklace, the fluctuations in his powers disappeared, and his face looked as pale as a beggar under his sunglasses. "Pretend to be a weakling and lure them deeper." Yuyan nodded, with admiration in her eyes. "Brother Fan, your electromagnetic precision is like art, but don't go crazy." Xiao gasped, "I cut off the back, the server has been hacked." The whole place was dead silent, and the thug stared wide-eyed. "What's wrong, boss?" "His face is purple and black, he looks like he's possessed by an evil spirit." Mind-reading backlash. This E-level guy's eyes are flashing with blue light. The tattooed man drew his sword and pounced on him. "Kill." Lin Fan stood up suddenly, he wiped his mouth with bloodshot eyes and sneered, "The game is over." He clasped his hands together and growled, "Electromagnetic storm." The blue and white arc surged like a tornado, the air ionized and made a sizzling sound, all the lamps exploded, and debris fell like rain. More than a dozen thugs twitched instantly, the flame's superpower. Fenlang screamed and extinguished the fire, the tattooed man's skin that strengthened his flesh melted, the bones cracked as loudly as popcorn, and the electromagnetic pulse went straight into the brain, paralyzing the nerves. Yuyan was tied to an iron pillar and her eyes were begging for help. Xiao Li's face turned pale. Fan. Electric rat, hold on. The thugs punched and kicked Lin Fan, causing blood to bleed from the corner of Lin Fan's mouth. The worse he pretended, the harder the rebound was. Fenlang smiled grimly, start reading minds. He put on a VR-like helmet and scanned Lin Fan's forehead with blue light, but Lin Fan's thoughts backfired, and the electromagnetic pulse penetrated Fenlang's nerves like a needle. Fenlang's body froze, his eyes bulging like fish. Brain. The leader's voice, no, it's the map. The mayor controls the plan. His voice changed from laughter to screaming, his knees hit the ground, his helmet cracked and sparks exploded, and the smell of burnt meat erupted. They fell down one by one, their eyes turned white, and they foamed at the mouth. This is not E-class. S-class electromagnetic madman. Chief, help. Fenlang crawled on his knees, his voice trembling like a leaf, you read my memory. Leader Han plans to brainwash the mayor with a mind-reading helmet, paralyze the municipal network at tomorrow's meeting, and blow up the whole city with electromagnetic pulses. Lin Fan's brain was flooded with data, the mayor's brain wave lock, the helmet implant path, and the core server location. He clicked his finger, and the network counterattack was launched. The backdoor code poured out like a virus, the black network tracking system collapsed, the drone whined and crashed in the distance, and the alarm was silent. Deep in the iron cage, the chains were broken, and an iron tower figure smashed out of the prison door. His muscles were as knotted as steel. Jiang Chen, a person with enhanced physical abilities. He was covered in whip marks and his eyes were blood red. He glanced at the twitching thugs on the ground and smashed the iron bars with his fists. You, save me. Lin Fan nodded, and the electromagnetic field scanned his brainwaves to confirm that there was no betrayal. Jiang Chen's eyes widened and his voice was like thunder, electromagnetic storm. I heard rumors in the dark cell. Are you Lin Fan? The undercover genius that Yi Ji said. He stepped forward and punched the ground with a punch, cracking the cement mesh. Brother. Those scumbags from Iron Fist, you beat me for 3 days, I punched the wall, and they laughed at me for being stunned. Now, you make them unable to even stand. From now on, I will recognize you as my big brother and provide you with information. The S-class lair in the Black Network is at the old airport, the source of the 3-day pulse. Yuyan broke free from the iron chain, her eyes were as round as copper bells, and her cheeks were flushed. Brother Fan. You killed a dozen D-level superpowers in an instant. The electromagnetic storm was as precise as a scalpel, and they didn't even fight back. This wave, peak of A level. She rushed forward and hugged him. His arms felt the beating of the remaining electric arc, and his body trembled slightly. He's so handsome, pretending to be a pig and eating a tiger, it made my heart stop beating. Xiao Li got up, his legs weak and stuttering. God. God. The server is paralyzed, the tracking network is completely useless, and the black network is blind. Lin Yuyan's pupils shrank. Jiang Chen. Are you Yi Ji's subordinate? Reinforcement madman. Jiang Chen grinned, showing his white teeth. Intelligence support, military backing. Let's go. The 4 people rushed out of the torture room, and the electromagnetic aftermath caused the security door to self-explode, and flames shot into the sky. Fenlang got up and made a last-ditch effort, and the flame tornado rushed towards him. Death. Jiang Chen punched him, the air exploded, and the flames scattered like fireworks. Lin Fan pulsed to touch up the knife. Fenlang's head blackened with a sizzle, and he fell to the ground twitching. Han, leader, electromagnetic, madman. They climbed into the emergency exit, the aftershocks of the explosion shaking the walls and blowing dust in their faces. The Black Network radio roared, "The middle level has fallen. Upgrade the alert, S-class patrols are fully activated. The electric rat boy is the disguised boss." He ran out of the mall in the night rain, sirens blared, and passers-by screamed, "Blue light." Another superpower battle. Jiang Chen rushed with Xiao Li on his back. Muscles bulging, "Brother, your storm makes my blood surge. I have never seen such a clean instant kill." Yuyan followed closely, her voice trembling with excitement, "The mayor's plan has been exposed, we have a 3-day counterattack window. Brother Fan, you are the patron saint of the city." Suddenly, Lin Fan's skin badge burned, and Yi Ji's holographic face popped up on the projection, as cold as frost. "Lin Fan, the government superpower surveillance department is involved. You have exposed your mid-level strength, and the Black Network has upgraded to hunt. My subordinate Jiang Chen has confirmed that you have no double face. But be careful, Han Zhao's mind-reading helmet is upgraded, locking onto the mayor's brain, and the pulse countdown is started. Wait for my props at the meeting point, outside the old airport." The projection dissipated, the ozone smell remained, Lin Fan's blue eyes were deep, and the power in his body was like a beast. The rain whipped the asphalt road like a whip, the neon lights shattered into blood-red fragments in the puddles, the distant police sirens tore through the night sky, the propellers of the BlackNet drone buzzed like a swarm approaching, and 4 figures scurried wildly in the narrow alley. Jiang Chen carried Xiao Li on his shoulders, his muscles bulging like steel pumps. The rainwater slid down his whip-scarred arms, cracking the pavement bricks and stones with every step, and splashing out the stench of mud. "Brother, the thermal scanning of the drone is locked. S-class patrol, there are still 2 kilometers outside the old airport, and their electromagnetic probe goes straight into your disguise necklace." Jiang Chen roared, his voice was louder than the wind and rain, and his bloodshot eyes scanned the black shadows in the sky. In the rain curtain, the 4 figures disappeared into the night. The black clouds of the Black Network drones were overwhelming, and the crisis was like a network tightening. Lin Fan clenched his fist, and the electric arc jumped, "Come on, Han Xiao, I'm waiting to blow up your lair with electromagnetic pulse." In the distance, Han Zhao's sneer was like a ghost, and his brainwaves echoed, "Madman, welcome to the inner circle, the mind-reading game will never end." Lin Fan's blue eyes were deep, and the electromagnetic torrent in his body was like a roar of a wild beast. The camouflage necklace was slightly hot to cover up the fluctuations. He deliberately slowed down and pretended to be out of energy and staggered, "The pursuers are close. I can't hold on." The drone swooped down, and the infrared laser swept across the alley. The roadside trash can exploded with a bang, the smell of burnt plastic hit his nostrils, and debris scattered like shrapnel. A drone's muzzle charged with blue light and pointed directly at the back of Lin Fan's head. Jiang Chen roared, "Fuck." About to jump up, an electric arc flashed in Lin Fan's palm, and there was a quiet pulse interference. The drone circuit was short-circuited, the propeller got stuck and fell, smashing the iron pole of the street lamp, and sparks exploded and illuminated his pale face. Lin Yuyan was panting, her black clothes were soaked and clinging to her skin, outlining the sharp and undulating curves. She grabbed Lin Fan's arm, her fingertips were cold and trembling. "Brother Fan, the badge projection said that Yi Ji's rendezvous point is in front. But the government's superpower surveillance network has also focused on you, and the middle-level storm has been exposed A-level fluctuation, they thought you were a double undercover agent." Xiao Li swayed on Jiang Chen's shoulder, his thin face was as pale as paper, raindrops mixed with blood dripping, the server crashed, but the Black Network forum triggered an alarm. Han Xiao personally ordered that the bounty be doubled, and the electromagnetic madman offered a reward of 100 million. The whole team was silent for a moment, Lin Yuyan's almond-shaped eyes widened, and her eyelashes trembled in the rain. "Brother Fan, you paralyzed the S-class probe machine with just one flash. They didn't even react, it's a miracle." Jiang Chen grinned, and the muscles on Xiao Li's shoulders trembled. "Brother, pretending to be a pig makes me feel itchy. That wave just now, I had to carry 3 rounds. Xiao Li's legs were weak and he stuttered, "We are blinded by the heat, we can't breathe." The 4 people got into the underground hangar, the door slammed shut, and the red light swept across the oil stains on the floor. Yiji glanced at Lin Fan, a flash of scrutiny in her eyes. "Lin Fan, your electromagnetic storm killed the middle layer instantly." The surveillance department was shaken, thinking it was a ghost in the black network. "But Jiang Chen's brain waves confirmed that you are clean." She threw out a chip the size of a fingernail, and the circuits on the surface were beating like veins. An electromagnetic shield is implanted in the arm to circumvent government tracking networks and black network mind-reading scans. Han Xiao upgraded his helmet and locked the city's brainwaves. The first wave of paralysis occurred within 24 hours, the municipal transportation network collapsed, electromagnetic pulses detonated substations, and the whole city turned black. Lin Fan took the chip, slightly thorns embedded in his skin, the coolness spread like ice flow, the badge merged with it, and the projected burning wolf memory hologram unfolded, the S-class lair map of the old airport, the core server of the black network like the heart of a giant beast. Han Zhao's figure flashed vaguely, holding a helmet and sneering. Jiang Chen punched the oil drum, and the clang echoed, "Chief." In Fenlang Scumbag's memory, there are 50 S-class superpower guards in the lair, and the mind-reading array is directly connected to the city's surveillance. Lin Yuyan leaned closer to the hologram, biting her lip with her silver teeth. "Brother Fan, the core of this map is under the airport tower, and the source of the pulse is hidden with an electromagnetic accelerator, which can blow up half of the area. How can our team break out?" Turning past the abandoned factory, the barbed wire fence around the old airport loomed, with rust and corrosion making the sound of dripping water, and the air was filled with the stench of engine oil, mold and rot. Suddenly, a cold figure flashed out from the darkness, Yiji. She was wearing a black trench coat, her face was carved like frost, and the silver bracelet in her hand projected a blue light barrier to block the swarm of drones behind her. "Come in." She shouted, the pulse of the bracelet spread, the electromagnetic fog filled the air, the drone whined and crashed into the net, and the explosion fire reflected the red wire. Xiao Li slid down from Jiang Chen's shoulder, his legs were weak and he held his knees up, staring at the projection with wide eyes, the fragment of burning wolf's brain damage. The Han Xiao forum is classified. Low-level members can mislead patrols by reporting intelligence. But pretending to be a mind-reading helmet is risky, as E-class superpowers can monitor brain waves. "Yi Zhiling hum, use my props." She threw out a VR-shaped helmet, disguised as a game device on the surface, and the electromagnetic anti-reading module inside flashed. Lin Fan put it on, pretending to be a low-level hacker, and went deep into the forum to report false information. The electric rat boy fled to the East District Pier, leading Han Xiao to divide his troops. The lights in the hangar were swaying, and the rain was hitting the iron roof like a drum. Lin Fan put on his helmet, and his vision switched to the dark web forum. The dark web interface was blood-red and pulsating, the members' avatars were jumping with grimaces, and there was a flood of barrages. The middle level has fallen. The electromagnetic maniac is S-class. The forum went viral, rat boy, Pier. Blue light flashes twice. Low-level members commented wildly, patrol diversion to the East District. Bounty mine. Jiang Chen watched the hologram, his muscles tensed, and his voice was like thunder. "Brother, this operation, the Black Network treats you as a low-level rookie. Han Xiao personally likes the misleading post." Lin Yuyan's cheeks flushed, and she grabbed Lin Fan's sleeve. "Brother Fan, you passed the forum brainwave verification, you are a genius hacker. But, the fluctuations are perfectly concealed and suppressed to the point where my heart beats faster." Yiji nodded, her eyes rarely soft. "The blocker is in effect, the government has blocked your signal. Now, analyze the nest, the 3-layer protection of the tower, the core of the mind-reading helmet is at B2, and the 24-hour countdown is activated." Suddenly, the helmet alarm beeped, and a private message popped up on the forum. "E-class superpower, Shadow Needle, was online. Rat boy, your residual wave data is fake. The location is locked in the hangar, brothers gather around. The metal outside the hangar door creaked, and more than a dozen Black Network E-class thugs broke through the net. Shadow Needle, the leader, was as thin as a bamboo pole, with sunken eye sockets, and the needle-like metal thorns on his arms retracted. The smell of rust filled the air. Low-level trash, dare I feed you fake stuff? I'll blow your brains out. The thugs surrounded him with grins, their laser guns charging blue light, rainwater seeping in through the cracks in the door, and the slippery ground reflecting murderous intent. Jiang Chen lunged forward with a low roar, punching both of them away. The bones cracked like firewood, but the shadow needle shot out and pierced his shoulder. Blood spurted out like mist, strengthened the body. I'm an E-class magnetically controlled metal, pierced the heart. Lin Yuyan disguised herself with spray, hiding he was on the edge of his body, but the laser swept through the danger. Xiao screamed and shrank into the corner. Brother Fan, their brain waves are linked and they are locked by mind reading. Yi Ji pulled out the gun, but the bullet was deflected by the metal fragments, and sparks flew everywhere, layer suppression. Back off. Lin Fan stood up with a sneer without taking off his helmet. He wanted to show off his strength before suppressing it. He deliberately stepped back and hit the oil drum, pretending to be frightened and trembling. Brother, please forgive me. The fake data is the legacy of the Iron Fist. Shadow Needle laughed wildly, and the needles shot out like rain, penetrating the iron frame with a clang. Mars, the passerby's thug's eyes widened. This kid is an E-level noob, he pissed his pants. Jiang Chen covered his shoulders and roared, brother. The electromagnetic shielding device buzzed, Lin Fan's blue eyes brightened, and the torrent in his body exploded. It's terrible. Counterattack. The thugs were stunned, the laser gun self-destructed the circuit, and they screamed with burning hands, S-level suppression. E-level against A-level. Back off. A fat thug ran wildly, staggering and slipped, and the fragments went straight into his knees, and blood mist sprayed from his flesh and bones. Jiang Chen's eyes widened, but his blood-stained shoulders were grinning, brother. The metal fragments are like thousands of arrows, piercing the nerves with precision, they can't even lift the gun. This hacker style, the control is like playing a game. Lin Yuyan's pupils shrank to pinpoints, her face turned pale with excitement. Brother Fan, you suppressed and acted like a pig, now you bounce up and kill the E-class group in an instant. The trajectory of the fragments is predicted perfectly, the magnetic field is like an invisible hand, it makes my legs weak. Holding his hands in vain, the metal fragments around him, wires, screws, gun barrels, were like floating living things. The buzzing electromagnetic field distorted the air, and the smell of ozone hit your nostrils. Shadow Needle's eyes bulged. This, magnetic control. It's not an electric mouse, it's a control king. Lin Fan growled, electromagnetic puppet. The fragments turned into a metal storm, spinning at high speed like a meat grinder, tearing the air with a hiss, and the first wave of needles pricked back to bite Shadow Needle's arm. He screamed, ah, my needle. It's melted. The liquid metal melted and dripped, and the smell of burnt meat exploded. Shadow Needle knelt down, the needle arm melted, and his voice trembled like chaff. Rao, mind reading. Are you an undercover agent? Leader Han's plan. In 24 hours, the first wave of paralysis will start. All traffic lights will go out, the substation pulse will explode, and the city center will fall. Lin Fan's thoughts backfired on the helmet, and the electromagnetic needle pierced Shadow Needle's brain, and a torrent of memories poured in, the detailed map of the lair, the path of the mayor implanted in the helmet, and the accelerator charging countdown. Shadow Needle's eyes turned white, foaming at the mouth, electricity, madman. His head popped, blackened and fell to the ground. Lin Fan took off his helmet, scanned the map projection with his blue eyes, roared with the power in his body, and went berserk with the coolness of the shield. In 24 hours, Han Zhao's first wave is coming. Lair, electromagnetic pulse preparation. In the distance, Han Zhao's brainwaves echoed in the forum like a ghost's laughter. rat boy faked his death. Madman, welcome to the inner circle, mind reading upgrade, waiting for your brain damage. Outside the rain curtain, the remains of the drone smoked, black clouds pressed down, the crisis escalated, and the lights of the old airport tower pulsated faintly, like the beating of an animal's heart. Lin Yuyan held his hand tightly, her eyes filled with admiration. Brother Fan, we are determined to follow you. You are the only savior in this urban crisis. The four figures melted into the night, and the electromagnetic storm was ready to strike. The blood-red light in the underground hangar is like the pulsation of a heart, reflecting the stench of oil, blood and water all over the floor. Rainwater seeps in from the gaps in the iron roof, and the ticking sound is like a countdown pendulum. Lin Fan locked his blue eyes on the holographic projection. The detailed picture of the lair on the underground B2 floor of the tower looked like the mouth of a giant beast. The electromagnetic accelerator charging bar had climbed to 30%. Han Zhao's blurred figure was holding a helmet, and the sneer echoed in his brainwaves, inside, wait for you to be stupid. Jiang Chen's shoulders were stained with blood and his muscles were bulging. Like iron, he punched the wall, cement shards flew, and his voice was like muffled thunder. Brother, the 24-hour window is as narrow as a dog's crack. Shadow Needle's memory said that the high-level party was in the old airport VIP room tonight, and the Black Network recruited political and business elites to brainwash and implant mind-reading instructions. Go straight in, kill a few fat sheep, and cut off Han Zhao's escape. Lin Yuyan's almond-shaped eyes flashed, and her wet black clothes clung to her curves. She moved closer to Lin Fan, the smell of sweat and rain hit her nostrils, and her fingertips touched his arm to disguise the necklace. Brother Fan, after the badge is fused with the shielding chip, your fluctuations are invisible like a ghost. But the party security S-level mind-reading array is connected to the city's surveillance, and Han Zhao's implant code is hidden in the heads of politicians and businessmen. Transportation Network Collapse Command, Mayor's Substation Pulse Key. Our team cannot hold out 50 guards, so you have to sneak in alone and read the mind to counterplant. Her voice trembled, her admiration burning, and she clutched her sleeves tighter, but, the risk is high. You just broke out of the E group, and the heat of the superpower is still hot. I'm panicking. Yiji's cool face reflected the frosty white of the light. She threw out the silver bracelet upgrade module and inserted it into Lin Fan's badge with a pop. The slight thorns on her skin spread, and the projection flashed a new disguise. The low-level Black Network hacker, Rat Boy, had an upgraded ID, and the brainwave template was implanted with the personality of a drunken novice. Government props, mind-reading helmets with anti-module enhancements, can steal the memories of elites without triggering the police. But Han Zhao's cronies are present, and the hierarchy is suppressed like a natural chasm. Xiao got up with weak legs, stared at the projection with a thin face, and stuttered in worship. Old boss, the forum successfully divided troops into the East District, but the high-level party sent a private message to the police. It is suspected that the rat boy faked his death, and the bounty is locked on your alias. The electromagnetic torrent in Lin Fan's body roared, as suppressed as a beast's chain. He deliberately rubbed his temples, pretending to be tired and panting. The party, there are many fat sheep in politics and business, so I will read the mind and cut off the pulse source. But I am an E-level rookie, will my secrets be revealed as soon as I walk in? Jiang Chen's eyes widened, and his fists clenched. Brother, you pretend to be a pig, I will cover you. Yuyan's mist is in chaos, I will break through the back door. Lin Yuyan bit her lip with silver teeth and her eyes were as intense as lightning. Brother Fan, don't press too low. I control the props to control the lights and sound to create a drunken farce. When you read your mind, my brainwaves link up to share the fluctuations. Qing Mei has a tacit understanding and will never hold you back. Yiji looked carefully and said in a rare soft voice, Lin Fan, you control the Tianchen level, the government trusts you. But if you are exposed, the pursuit will be promoted to S+. The hangar door opened with a bang, and the night wind and rain brought the smell of rust, and the four of them separated. Lin Fan disguised himself alone, his necklace buzzing to cover up the fluctuations, and walked into the neon area outside the old airport VIP room. The sea of lights beats like blood, there are many luxury cars, the political and business elites in suits and leather shoes are laughing and talking loudly, and the air is filled with cigar smoke and sweet perfume. The low-level thug from the black network glanced at the door, laser eyes scanning his brainwaves. Lin Fan stumbled deliberately, shaking the wine bottle, pretending to be drunk. "Hey! Rat boy is late, forum bounty dream." The thug's nose twitched, smelling drunkenness, and waved with a sinister smile, "E-class scum, go in and don't make trouble." The crystal lanterns in the hall are as bright as the stars hanging upside down, the jazz music is as low as the heartbeat, the political and business elites are drinking glasses of wine, their faces are exaggerated and smiling, but their eyes are as empty as puppets. Lin Fan sneaked into the bar, disguised himself with a helmet to hide his vision, switched to a private channel on the dark web, and injected his brainwaves into the badge template, a drunken new personality. Suddenly, a fat businessman bumped into him. The wine spilled on his shirt and the sweet taste hit his nostrils. He glared angrily, "Low-level trash, get out of here." I was named by the Korean leader and read his mind to upgrade to VIP. The elites around him looked sideways and taunted, "Rat boy. That scumbag with false information from the East District, how dare you come here with a broken bounty dream? Brainless E-level, sweep the floor." Lin Fan lowered his head and pretended to be cowardly. The torrent in his body was so suppressed that it was about to explode. He wanted to suppress it first. He murmured, "Big boss, please forgive me. I will report it to the Eastern District rat movie." The Korean leader personally praised it. The elites laughed loudly, and the wine glasses clinked like a taunt. Belle, a female politician, swayed closer, her red lips curled coldly, "Brother, kneeling and licking is useless. The helmet is implanted tonight, and the mayor's brainwaves have been locked. We are chess pieces, and you are cannon fodder." A strange light flashed in her eyes, and brainwave linkage appeared. Lin Fan's blue eyes narrowed slightly, the buzzing of the badge was upgraded and read back, and the pulse was stolen quietly, a torrent of memories poured in. Han Zhao's helmet was implanted with a control code, the key to the central power grid was hidden in the brains of politicians and businessmen, 24-hour synchronization paralysis, the substation pulse exploded, the whole city's black lights triggered a melee with supernatural powers. The whole place was dead silent, the pieces clattered to the ground, and there was a fishy stench mixed with oil, blood, and water. Yiji gasped and retracted the gun, her voice rarely trembling, "Lin Fan, your control. There is no precedent in the government files, E-class ambush turned into massacre, the level is like a chasm." Xiao Li got up, his legs softened and worshipped, "Genius." The forum misled successfully, the black network divided its forces into the east area, we have a 24-hour window. Jiang Chen punched the ground, the cement cracked, "Brother, from now on you say east, I will never go west. Raid on the lair, I will be the vanguard." Lin Fan took advantage of the chaos and approached the mayor, swaying drunkenly, "City Mayor brother, here's to you." He touched the palm of his hand, electromagnetic needle pricked the brain waves, and his memory was fully activated. Han Xiao personally implanted it, the core server of the power grid is located at the substation B1 in the city center, and the accelerator linkage paralysis command has been uploaded. But the alarm was faint, and the eyes of the cronies were locked, the rat boy's brain wave is abnormal. How do you read VIP at a low level? 3 S-class cronies approached, led by a strong man with an iron arm, and the metal prosthetic eyes in the eye sockets flashed red, E-class bugs, named in the Korean leader forum, brain dead and false information. Catch them alive, read their minds and skin them. There was a moment of dead silence in the hall, the elites widened their eyes and retreated, the wine glasses shattered with a crisp sound, and fear surged like a tide. Lin Fan fell down on purpose, spilled wine all over his body, pretended to be drunk and cried, "Brother. I was wrong. East District true shadow, spare me." The strong man laughed wildly, stretched out his iron arms to grab his neck, suppressed by the twisted air magnetic field, crushing at levels. Kneeling and licking is useless. Brothers, needles blast your brains. The needle-stabbing men surrounded him with a ferocious smile. The laser network deployed blue light to store energy, and the smell of burnt plastic hit his nostrils. The souls of politicians and businessmen around him were flying. S-level cronies started a low-level blood sacrifice. The hall was destroyed. Jiang Chen's muscles tensed up, and he fisted the table leg, ready to pounce. Lin Yuyan's mist thickened, and she said urgently, "Brother Fan, keep it down, my legs are weak and waiting for you to bounce." The electromagnetic shielding chip buzzed and heated up. Lin Fan's blue eyes suddenly brightened, and the torrent in his body erupted like a volcano. "It's miserable enough, reverse." He pressed his palms to the ground. All the lights of the security system in the hall went out. The crystal lamp sizzled, short-circuited and exploded, and sparks rained down. The electromagnetic pulse expands quietly. The eyes of the trusted friends are blinded with red light. The iron arm circuit fuses and sparks fly, and the burning smell of ozone explodes. The strong man's eyes bulged, and his voice trembled like a sieve. The security network is paralyzed. Rat boy, you are hiding from the S-class electromagnetic storm. Lin Fan stood up, sneered and held his hands, and the metal around him, bottle fragments, gun barrels, table legs, suspended and hummed, twisting the air like a tornado. Thousands of fragmented arrows were fired, spinning at high speed and tearing through the air with a hiss. The first wave went straight into the iron arm of the strong man, and the molten metal droplets scalded the flesh. He screamed and fell to his knees. Magnetron King. Not E-class, but an electromagnetic madman. The needle stabbed. The laser gun under his hand exploded, burning hands and spraying blood mist. The level of the chasm. The S-class cronies in the hall knelt down instantly. Back off. One of the cronies ran wildly, with wine stains on his feet. The fragments penetrated the knee bone and cracked, and he fell to the ground twitching with blood and flesh. The political and business elite stared wide-eyed, and the mayor was dumbfounded. The low-level drunkard broke the ambush in an instant. A miracle. A ghost in the black network. The female politician's legs softened in worship, and she trembled. His pulses and mind-reading arrays were all blinded, and the commands in our heads were exposed. Jiang Chen pounced and smashed away the remaining soldiers with one punch. His bones exploded like firewood, and his tiger eyes were excited. Brother. Security intrusion is child's play. The metal storm penetrates the nerves accurately. They can't even call the police. This pretending to be a pig makes my blood burn. Lin Yuyan's mist dispersed, her cheeks flushed and she rushed closer, hugging Lin Fan's arm tightly. Brother Fan. You pretended to be perfect and bounced off the security of the electromagnetic blasting hull. You got all the mind-reading data, and I shared the heat with you. I felt your torrent like a hug, and your heartbeat resonated and my legs felt weak. Yi Jiwei was rarely excited. Lin Fan, the government has monitored the signal. Your upgraded disguise is flawless. The data is sent back, and the power grid key is obtained. Lin Fan's mind was used to steal the brains of his cronies. The core data was downloaded, the B1 server map of the city center substation was fully opened, and the path to paralysis was locked. But when the police were alerted on the private channel, Han Zhao's brainwave ghostly laughed. Rat boy equals electromagnetic madman. The pseudonym is locked, and the whole network is wanted for S++ bounty. In the inner tower, the mind-reading helmet is waiting for you to visit, and the brain-dead game is upgraded. The four people gathered at the back door. The night rain whipped, the VIP room was ablaze, and the screams of the elites fled echoed. Reunited in the underground hangar, Xiao stared at the data projection, his slim face distorted. The power grid in the city center. The first wave of paralysis not only caused traffic, but also the collapse of the supernatural surveillance network. Han Xiao is wanted on personal orders, a big crisis. Jiang Chen punched the oil drum with his fist and ignored it with his bloody shoulder. Brother, I am the vanguard for the attack on the power grid tower. Lin Yuyan held Lin Fan's hand tightly, her eyes filled with affection. Brother Fan, the data confirmed the conspiracy, but the wanted alias was exposed, and our bond became stronger. Qing Mei intelligence, we will never leave. Yi Ji's eyes flashed pen. There is a sudden change within the government, and there are suspicions of double-sided undercover agents in the power grid tower. 24-hour compression, accelerator 50%, a bigger hunt is coming. Lin Fan's blue eyes locked on the projection, his supernatural power roared. The tower lights outside the rain pulsated like an animal's breath, black clouds pressed down on the city, the electromagnetic frenzy gathered momentum, and the wanted net opened like a ghost's claws. The air in the underground hangar was as stagnant as lead, and rainwater fell from the cracks in the iron roof. It hit the oil-stained ground with a pitter-patter sound, mixed with the smell of bloody rust and burnt circuits. The blue light of the projection screen pulsated coldly, reflecting the tired shadows on everyone's faces. Lin Fan slid and sat against the wall, his blue eyes half-closed, the electromagnetic torrent in his body rolling like thunder, the camouflage necklace pressed against his neck, and the badge's skin stung with residual heat. He deliberately rubbed his forehead to pretend to be weak and breathed intermittently. Data. The power grid key is obtained, and the B1 server map of the substation is fully opened. But Han Xiao wants S++, and the entire network is scanning the rat ID with brainwaves. We are like rats in a pit of fire. Blood flowed down Jiang Chen's arm from his shoulder injury, and the ground was dyed red. He punched the edge of the oil drum, and the sound was deafening. His muscles were bulging and veins were jumping, and his tiger eyes were bloodshot. Brother, keep pretending to be a pig, my blood is burning. The wave of metal arrows in the VIP room, and the scene of the S-class cronies kneeling and twitching, I have relived it 10 times, it's so exciting. But the wanted list is high, the 24-hour paralysis countdown, the tower accelerator is 50%, we will not destroy the B1 server. Once the political and business brain puppets wake up, the whole city will be in chaos with black lights. His voice was as rough as sandpaper grinding iron, his adoring eyes were fixed on Lin Fan, his fists were clenching, and his legs were shaking slightly to suppress his excitement. Lin Yuyan knelt down in front of the projection, her black clothes were soaked and tightly wrapped around her curves, the smell of sweat and rain hit her nostrils, her almond-shaped eyes flashed with data streams, her fingertips fluttered with the badge interface, her silver teeth bit her lip. Brother Fan, the mind-reading anti-implantation was successful, the mayor's brain code was decrypted, Han Zhao's deputy, Iron Fox, was hidden in the B1 data center, S-level mind-reading assistant, and the ultimate pulse code locked his head. The Eastern Division was delayed, and the middle-level people in the Black Network were blind, but the bounty pop-ups are crazy. The low-level thugs on the forum have a sense of smell like a dog, and the fire in the VIP room has alarmed. She leaned closer to Lin Fan, sprayed hot breath on her cheeks, put her palms on his arms, and trembled slightly with her brain waves. I upgraded the mist props and remotely controlled the B1 light network. But the risk. I can't bear your torrent of heat, and my legs are weak in panic. Qing Mei Bond, upgrade the helmet for me, and let me support your back. In the distance, Jiang Chen pretended to be a waiter, his muscles bulging under his shirt. He roared into the wireless, brother, the back door is in place. 3 S-class cronies will read your mind and scan your drunkenness, hold on. Lin Yuyan's mist props were remotely controlled, the hall lights flickered, and the speakers stunned. The noise in her ears exploded, and the elite screamed in confusion, power outage. The security of the Black Network failed. The smoke filled the air, and the smell of perfumed smoke stung her nose. Her brainwaves linked to Lin Fan, Brother Fan, the window of chaos is open. Mind reading is accelerated, I share the heat, and my heartbeat synchronizes with you. Xiao Li's thin face was as pale as paper, his legs were weak and he was leaning against the wall. He stared at the projection and stammered, old boss, there are 50 servers in the group. The electromagnetic shielding wall is as thick as a fortress, 10 Iron Fox guards have enhanced powers, laser network plus brain wave lock. Forum private channel, Rat Boy electromagnetic madman, double the bounty, capture the brains alive and sell them for organs. His eyes were bulging, his voice was shaking like chaff, he was worshipping with fear, and his skinny hands were grabbing his knees in an unconscious worship posture. The torrent inside Lin Fan roared, and the chain of suppression was about to break. He pretended to be cowardly and lowered his head, muttering, E-class rookie enters B1. Iron Fox's S-class head, the laser net wiped away the ashes. The team was wiped out, and I live alone is boring. The crowd thunder exploded, Jiang Chen who roared, brother, don't press. You drunkard bounces up in the VIP room, the iron arm of the confidant drops blood mist, my fist is itchy. Lin Yuyan clenched his hand, her nails embedded in the flesh. With a flushed face and a trembling voice, brother Fan, the data inventory is over, the power grid path is locked, and the virus upload window is 3 minutes. But the wanted brainwave scans the whole city, and I will link up to absorb your heat, even if your legs are weak. Xiao worshipped with his legs shaking, the boss is invincible, I will replay the death of the Shadow Needle in the East District, and the Iron Fox will suffer the same fate. Yi Ji looked at the game, believe in you, upgrade the helmet implant, and the strength will jump to the mid-level pulse. Yi Ji's cold face was as white as frost, her eyes scanned the crowd, and she threw out a new prop, a black market VR helmet upgrade shell, which embedded Lin Fan's badge with a pop, and her skin ran cold like an electric snake. Government backup, helmet anti-module extreme version, can disguise as a mid-level black network engineer, Steel Iron Fox memory does not touch the police. But the B1 security is double-layered, and Han Zhao's video surveillance is ready to ridicule. Lin Fan, you are at the top of your level. You can act like a pig when you stand down. Her rare soft eyes flashed for inspection, and the scent of her body filled the air, and the smell of rain relieved her depression. It rained like a whip at night, and the substation tower in the city center stood like a neon jungle. Black clouds pressed down on the top, and the red light on the top of the tower pulsated like an animal's eye. Lin Fan pretended to be a mid-level engineer, wearing a VR helmet with hidden waves and a buzzing necklace. He stumbled into the side door, pretending to be tired and panting, Boss Iron Fox, the rat boy in the VIP room is suspicious, I will fix the server line. The guard's nose twitched, smelling the odor of fake sweat, and waved the laser with a grin. Gun, mid-level scum, B1 double check. The Korean leader is watching the video, the brain-dead engineer, skinned by the wrong line. The low-level thugs around him laughed, banging the butt of the gun on the ground and taunting, a replica of Bounty Rat Boy. Go in and kneel down to lick the Iron Fox, and the laser net will grill the brain. The projection flashed, the helmet buzzed and merged, Lin Fan's blue eyes suddenly brightened, his superpowers jumped like taking off his shackles, the electromagnetic field expanded slightly, the hangar lights trembled slightly, and the metal shavings on the edge of the oil drum floated lightly. Jiang Chen's eyes widened and his voice trembled, brother, the air is distorted. The levels are jumping into the sky. This upgraded heat flow makes my skin tingle. Lin Yuyan's eyes were wet and she hugged her arms tighter, brother Fan, the torrent resonates, my heart beats like a drum, I feel dizzy. After taking stock, let's raid B1. The atmosphere in the crowd exploded, thunder rolled outside the rain, and the calm of the storm shattered. Lin Fan lowered his head and pretended to be cowardly, bending his knees slightly, old. Boss, please forgive me, I will repair the line and stabilize the servo. Iron Fox laughed wildly, the mind-reading needle pierced the air, and the brain wave was like a mountain, the layers are crushed, the memory is stripped naked. Brothers, the needle blasts the brain. The guards approached with a ferocious smile, the laser network deployed its hissing lock, and the alarm bell in the tower rang. In the distance, Jiang Chen pretended to be transporting goods, his muscles were bulging, and he was roaring wirelessly, brother, force your way through the back door, and 10 personal guards are surrounding you with superpowers. I can resist it. Lin Yuyan's missed remote control light flashed, the sound exploded with piercing noise, and data flowed randomly, brother Fan, the window of chaos. The helmet is cracked and linked, I will absorb your heat, and my legs will be weak in panic. The cold white light of the B1 data center is like an ice cave, the server cluster is humming like a honeycomb, the air is cold and smells of machine oil, 50 black towers are flashing with data, the Iron Fox S-Class deputy is sitting in the central control, the artificial brain is shining with golden light, holding a mind-reading needle, sneering, work engineer. Intermediate brainwave dish, news of the death of a close friend in the VIP room, the electromagnetic aftermath smells like a rat, and he kneels down to self-destruct. The laser network is surrounded by blue light, and the smell of burnt plastic is tangy. The muscles of the person with enhanced powers are bulging, and the eye sockets are red and hot. Lin Fan held it empty, and the electromagnetic field in the center twisted like a tornado. The metal pipelines were suspended and spinning, and the fragments and thousands of arrows were fired into the air, hissing, piercing the nerves of the personal guards, and melting bones and flesh exploded with a scorching stench. Jiang Chen rushed in and knocked 2 of them away with one punch. The bones exploded like firewood. Tiger Eyes roared excitedly, brother's mid-level pulse magic skill, superpower siege is like child's play. I can resist 5, and the blood spray is worth it. I worship and burn my heart. Lin Yuyan. Wave linkage, the upgraded version of the helmet's cracked mind-reading shell flashes, Brother Fan, Iron Fox's memory is stolen. The ultimate password, accelerator core code, paralysis is delayed for 72 hours. Your storm makes my legs weak and flushed, resonance hug. The pressure was extreme, Lin Fan's blue eyes opened wide, and the torrent in his body erupted, enough is enough, turn around. He pressed his palms to the ground, and the mid-level electromagnetic pulse exploded. The server group short-circuited and showered with sparks. The blue screen was like rain, and half of the black tower was paralyzed. Iron Fox Yi's brain was red and blind, and there was a crisp, snap sound as the needle broke. His eyes bulged and his voice trembled, this, pulse storm. The mid-level engineer is a hidden S++ electromagnetic madman. The guard's laser network self-melted, burning hands and spraying blood mist. The remnants of the personal guards rushed forward, Lin Fan's storm expanded, the metal of the tower wall twisted and collapsed, Jiang Chen's shoulder was newly injured and blood spurted out, and the laser residual light was carried by force. Lin Yuyan protected herself with mist but had blood marks on her arm. 3 people were seriously injured and broke out. An explosion outside the tower on a rainy night sent flames into the sky, and sirens tore through the black clouds. Jiang Chen gasped for blood and supported the wall, but the tiger's eyes were still burning. Brother, the virus has been delayed, the scene of the Iron Fox's skull being shattered will be remembered forever. But seriously injured plus wanted, the whole city has ghost claws. Lin Yuyan hugged Lin Fan tightly, blood-stained black clothes, almond eyes moist, Brother Fan, I got the ultimate code, my heart beats with you. I will never leave you. Iron Fox got up, sparks flying from the brainless mind, and he worshipped with fear in a trembling voice, full control of the electromagnetic field. Leader Han's conspiracy is exposed, rat boy, you are a god. Lin Fan's thoughts stabbed, and memories flooded. Han Zhao's ultimate attack code was fully activated, and the mind-reading helmet was implanted in the tower. But Han Zhao's video exploded on the central control screen, and he sneered, electromagnetic madman, what a show. The data center is half destroyed, the bounty is S+++, the whole city is hunting you with superpowers. A stupid game, the tower welcomes you. The screen was black, the virus was uploaded successfully, and the server was filled with residual heat and ozone. The rain whip slapped the cheeks like iron wire, and the coldness was biting. A mixture of blood and burnt smell filled the air from outside the substation. The red light of the explosion embers in the distance pulsated, and the police sirens tore through the black clouds like ghosts crying and wolves howling. Lin Fan half knelt in the sewage puddle, his chest hurt like a hammer, the electromagnetic torrent in his body roared at the chain, the camouflage necklace was hot against the skin, the residual electricity in the VR helmet shell trembled slightly, the Iron Fox memory fragments were like needles pricking the brain, the tower's mind-reading array was fully activated, and Han Zhao's ghostly laughter echoed. He raised his head, blue eyes with deep shadows, staring at Yi Ji's cold face, rainwater flowing down his forehead into his eyes, blurring his vision with salt. Secret. Agent Yi, I have used up all your government tools, and you want to protect me in exchange for my head? I have trusted the ghosts in the dark network, and I will not sell torrents to you rats. The voice was low and intermittent, pretending to be weak at the knees, and everyone gasped. Yi Ji's figure suddenly appeared in the neon rain, the silver car flashed to a stop, and he led the backup convoy with deep eyes. The government special team is in place, the data is confirmed. But Lin Fan, the secret of the supernatural power, handed over in exchange for the ultimate asylum. The air was dead silent, the rain whipped face, the distant lights of the tower were pulsing, and Han Zhao's brainwave ghostly laughter was faintly echoing, and the crisis broke out like a wave. Jiang Chen held on to the wall and gasped for blood. The blood fountain from his shoulder injury spattered and dyed the silver car red. The tiger's eyes were filled with bloodshot threads, and his muscles were bulging and veins were pulsing. His low roar was trembling like a suppressed beast. Brother Zhu Jin. Sister Yi, the B-1000 arrows blood mist picture burns me. Brain, the government bites the big brother torrent. I'm going to fight your special team with blood. The sound of his fist hitting the car door was deafening, and the rain bounced away the mist. His legs trembled slightly, his adoring eyes locked on Lin Fan, and his joints creaked, and he felt a chill of despair mixed with excitement. Lin Yuyan hugged Lin Fan's arm tightly, her black clothes were stained with blood and soaked, and her arm was torn like fire. Her almond-shaped eyes were moist and panicked, and the hot breath on her cheeks mixed with the smell of rain. Brother Fan refuses. Qingmei's brainwaves are linked. I will suck your heat and make my legs weak. I can smell the stench of government games. The Fog Props escort team will never sell you. Her fingernails were embedded in his flesh, her flushed face was trembling, and her body was limp. Her brainwaves were buzzing in resonance, and her heartbeat was pounding to suppress chest tightness. Yi Ji's eyes were as white as a knife, and her silver hair was flowing down her neck. She waved her hand and the car door opened with a bang. The black shadow of the backup convoy loomed with the light of the laser gun. Lin Fan, S+++ wanted brainwave scan throughout the city. Han Xiao Tower personally planted a video to lock your rat ID. The government, if you don't bite, you'll be able to kill the brains and sell them on the black market. Hand it over, and the special team will clear the black net, otherwise, the surveillance mark will be implanted. The air was frozen, the motorcade's engine roared like an animal's breath, the red lights on the far tower pulsated, and Han Zhao's brainwave ghostly smile was like needles piercing everyone's brains. The torrent in Lin Fan's body was thunderous and overwhelming. He pretended to be cowardly and lowered his head and murmured, "Enough of the pigs. The whole city has ghost claws. Anyone who sells the torrent will be wiped out." His blue eyes suddenly flashed, and he held his palms vacantly. The electromagnetic shield popped out from the badge and merged with his skin. The black fog field expanded like ink seeping rain. The convoy's laser gun sizzled with self-melting blue light. The engine died and exploded with sparks. Yi Ji took a step back, her cold face cracked with frost, her eyes trembling, shielding limit. Intermediate disguise hides A+ peak storm. You are like a natural chasm, the mark is delayed, but the special team tracks the brain waves, the tower hunt comes first. Her voice trembled slightly, her body fragrance was refreshing and mixed with the smell of burnt plastic, and the black shadow of the convoy was surrounding the gun muzzle with a sinister smile. Jiang Chen jumped up with a tiger roar, knocking two agents away with one shoulder. The bones cracked and blood sprayed out. He gasped for blood and shouted excitedly, "Big Brother shields the magic skill. The government rats are roasting themselves with lasers." I resisted and covered the blood burning. Lin Yuyan's fog exploded and the white smoke enveloped the team, and the light network controlled the remote tower. Flash blindly monitors, her legs are weak and she hugs Lin Fan's waist. "Brother Fan, transfer the window. The fog is linked to the heat, I am also flustered and dizzy." Xiao climbed up and navigated the underground stronghold through the projection, thin legs shaking the sieve. The boss is so smart. The B1 aftermath form exploded, and the suspicion of the fake death of the rat boy has arisen. Xiao jumped out from the shadows, his thin face was pale and his legs were limp, and he knelt in the puddle. The projection armband flashed the afterimage of data and his voice was trembling. Boss, the form S+++ pop-ups are crazy. The rat boy B1 collapse tower confirmed that the bounty organ price doubled. As soon as the government mark was put on it, the whole city's brains were smashed. His eyes were bulging in worship and fear, his thin hands grabbed his knees and shook like fallen leaves, and the smell of blood and rain was so overwhelming that he couldn't breathe. The underground stronghold is as damp as a tomb, filled with mildew and rotten stench. The cold blue light reflects the cracks in the wall, and the projection screen is mottled with wet stains. The memory data of the Iron Fox, the main nest of the tower, is located in the abandoned power plant in the East District. There are 50 mind-reading helmet arrays. Han Xiao personally controls the core accelerator. The list of political and business brain puppets is fully activated. The mayor's brain code has been planted. The second wave of attacks, the power grid is paralyzed at midnight to trigger riots with supernatural powers. Lin Fan slid against the wall and sat down, blood from his wounds dripping down his arms and staining the ground. The heat in his body was like a volcano. He pretended to be weak and gasping. The main nest is locked, but S+++ brainwave scan, the tower personally implanted the helmet 50, pygmy to enter the middle level. The whole team's brains were stripped and sold for organs. His blue eyes were half closed, and raindrops hit his heart from the cracks in his head. Despair was like lead on the crowd. The electromagnetic black fog swallowed up the rainy night, the street lights outside the tower exploded into black lights, the police sirens scurried like blind dogs. Lin Fan and his team staggered through the sewer grate, the rusty smelly water flooded his knees, the torrent roared suppressively, and the disguised mid-level brain wave template was stable. The gunfire from behind tore through the fog with a hiss, and Yi Ji shouted coldly, Lin Fan, the government is always watching. The black market price of supernatural powers, you can't escape. The black fog closed in, and the team sank into darkness. The sound of rain whips gradually faded away, replaced by the gulu of water swallowing their footsteps. Lin Yuyan knelt down in front of the projection, her black clothes were torn and bloodstains were exposed on her arms, and she smelled of sweat and rain mixed with mold. Her almond eyes flashed with data, her fingertips fluttered with badges, and her silver teeth bit her lips to bleed. Brother Fan, new information decrypted, Han Xiao controls the mayor's brain. The second wave is at midnight in the morning. The power grid is cut off and the supernatural hunting ground is opened. Political and business puppets are brainwashing and fighting in the streets. The fog upgrades the remote-controlled tower lamp, but the main nest's mind-reading array backfires. I can't hold back the heat caused by the brain wave linkage, my legs are weak and my chest is tight. She came closer, hot breath sprayed on Lin Fan's cheeks, her hands were trembling. Green plum bondage, general attack plan, you pretend to be a confidant, the helmet implants false memories to mislead the inside, I share the torrent, Jiang Chen forces his way to the bloody road. But the risk, the skull is locked and peeled off, never. Her face was flushed and wet, and her body was soft and humming against the projection. Jiang Chen tore the cloth around his shoulders, and the bloody cloth dripped red and black on the ground. He punched the iron table with a deafening sound, and his tiger eyes were filled with bloodshot eyes and growled, brother, don't press. I'm trying to fix the pain with the molten blood mist of the B1 guards, but the government bites plus black net hunting, the whole city's ghost network has no way out. I'll attack you all, I'll spurt blood out of the way. His legs trembled slightly to suppress his excitement, his muscles bulged like iron, his adoring gaze fixed on him, his joints cracked, and the smell of sweat and blood hit his nose. Lin Fan's chain was about to break, he pretended to be scared and rubbed his forehead, the confidant is pretending. Han Xiao is the mind-reading ghost king, the false memory is exposed, the electromagnetic stove in the tower roasts the pig. The government marked the aftermath. The brainwaves of Yi Zite's team are tracking like a shadow, and they are all destroyed. Everyone was thundering and thundering. Jiang Chen's tiger roar was suppressed. Big Brother is invincible. But the blood is not enough. Can I go alone to share the trouble before the general attack? Lin Yuyan held his hand tightly and dug her nails into it. Brother Fan, the data is complete, the path map is opened, false memories are implanted, the rat boy is dead, Iron Fox hand, and your inner ghost is promoted to the intermediate level. But in the second wave at midnight, the mayor's street ghosts are shouting brainwashing, we are like rats in the fire. Xiao Li's legs are shaking, boss is so smart, the magic technology blocks the government rats, but the contact of the ghosts in the dark network is strobe, dangerous. Xiao Li's face was pale, his legs were soft and he was leaning against the wall, staring at the screen and stammering, boss. 50 helmets in the main nest, hunted by S-class cronies, 80% accelerator charge, 8 hours countdown to 0-point paralysis. Forum private channel, Rat Boy faked his death. The bounty will not be withdrawn, the suspicion of an insider is rising, and the black net dog is sniffing the underground stench. His eyes bulged and trembled, his skinny hands grabbed his knees to worship fear, and he retched under the weight of the musty water. The projection flickered on the private channel of the black network, the brainwaves were encrypted and buzzed harshly, and a gloomy voice penetrated like a ghost's breath, Rat Boy, no, electromagnetic madman. B1 storm worship, Iron Fox's skull is shattered, the whole network is burned. The ghost is me, Han Xiao blind spot, the tower is not just about politics and business, the government informant Yi Ji. Meet alone, reveal the ultimate code, and it will cost you your life. Come in disguise, or your brain will explode. The screen was dark, the aftertaste of ozone permeated the air, and everyone gasped. Lin Fan's blue eyes were gloomy, the torrent was roaring and thunder was rolling outside the rain, the underground lamp was trembling slightly, and the metal shavings were frivolous and foreshadowed the rampage. Jiang Chen's eyes widened and he trembled, brother, the ghost invites you to be alone. Trap Ghost Claw, Yi Ji's informant. Pig, you go, my blood will burn. Lin Yuyan's almond-shaped eyes were filled with fear, and she hugged her arms tighter, brother Fan, your heart is beating wildly, the mist protects your waist, but alone, your legs are weak and frightened, Qing Mei will always be with you. Xiao Li slimmed down and trembled, the boss pig eats the tiger god, the inner ghost reveals the sky. But Han Zhao's brainwave ghost smile is close, the countdown to 0 is over. The rotten air pressed down on the throat like grave soil, Lin Fan's blue eyes stared gloomily at the afterimage of the projection, the spirit of the inner ghost echoed in his mind like worms, the torrent chains hummed in his body, the disguised mid-level brain wave template trembled slightly, the rain fell from the cracks in the iron door and hit the ground like a pounding heartbeat. He pretended to be timid and rubbed his forehead and murmured, alone. Is my head itchy? A trap. Yi Ji's informant double-attacked, and the torrent couldn't hold back the torrent and destroyed them all. Everyone gasped, Jiang Chen's tiger eyes bulged and his muscles bulged like iron, he punched the wall and cracked the spider web with a click sound. His voice trembled to suppress his excitement, Big Brother is a scheming man. The inner ghost invites a poisonous hook. I am bloodthirsty and will clear the way with the team. If you are alone, you will eat the pigs and eat the tigers. I will use my strength to cover even though my legs are weak. The smell of sweat and blood hit your nostrils, and the joints creaked and cracked. Lin Fan's adoring gaze was fixed on Lin Fan like an iron hook. The air is moldy and oppressive like a tomb lid, the torrent of projection data is pulsing, the tower is far away with faint thunder, and the countdown to the second wave of attacks is like a knife hanging from the neck. Lin Fan pretended to be cowed and lowered his head, the electromagnetic tornado inside his body was suffocating and ready to go off. Dark clouds of crisis were looming over the city, the ghost net in the city was tightened, and the rain whip violently smashed the iron door like a death knell. The government flag is still buzzing, the black net bounty is scanned, the mole invites poisonous hooks to flash cold, the team is injured and tired, panting intermittently, and the despair is bottomless. Lin Yuyan's almond-shaped eyes were filled with panic and wet with tears. She hugged Lin Fan's waist tightly. Her black clothes were torn with bloody marks, exposing her white skin. Her fingernails were embedded in her flesh, and her face was red and trembling. Brother Fan's heartbeat is linked to my heartbeat. The mist protects me, the waist and brain waves are sharing the heat, and I can't stand the ghosts in the East District alone. My legs are weak, I'm scared, and my chest is stuffy. Qing Mei is with you, don't break my head. My body is soft and humming against the projection, and my clothes are wet with the smell of rain and anxiety. Lin Fan's torrent rolled with muffled thunder, and his psychological game was torn apart like an electromagnetic storm. Is the mole real or fake? Yiji's informant confirmed that the pig bites the hook, or is it a God-given blueprint from the Black Network's blind spot? The countdown to 0 o'clock is 8 hours long. The political and business puppets are screaming in the streets, the whole city's power grid is paralyzed, superpowers are rioting, and pigs are the first to be cannon fodder. If you refuse to make an appointment, the group will be destroyed. If you go to the appointment, your brain will be stripped and your organs will be sold. The government marks the remaining buzz and the brain waves will be traced like a shadow. The middle-level pig-like disguise will only delay. He pretended to be weak and sat down in the corner, panting intermittently, his blue eyes half closed. It's miserable. I'll go alone. The team's stronghold will be completely sealed with fog, Jiang Chen's blood route will be spared, Xiao Li's forum will fake death with smoke bombs, and Yu Yan's brain waves will be linked to the heat to monitor my heartbeat. As soon as the insider is exposed, the torrent will return to the general attack. The voice was as low as the last breath, and everyone's hearts were filled with despair. Jiang Chen's throat rolled and he roared, "Brother is invincible. The blood fever is dimming, but you are a pig." My eyes are wide open, my heart is frightened, and my legs are weak. Lin Yuyan's tears splashed against the projection. She bit her lip with bleeding teeth and brought it close to her forehead to heat it. Brother Fan, the fog is activated, the heat makes my legs weak and weak. A navigation path map of Xiao Li's projection appeared. The shadow of the waste pipe pulsated, and he slimmed down and trembled. The boss's magic trick is to plant fake codes on the channel to mislead dogs to sniff. Lin Fan stood up and staggered, pretending that the necklace was hot and fused with the jugular. The electromagnetic black mist expanded slightly and swallowed up the mold lamp, sizzling, and extinguished it. His blue eyes suddenly flashed when he pushed open the door, and the rust crunched harshly. The rain whipped his cheeks and it was cold and biting. The lonely figure sank into the dark alley. The waste pipes in the East District are like the intestines of giant beasts. The sewage, gulu, is bubbling, the smell of rust is mixed with feces and urine, and the corruption is astounding. The moonlight is scattered with broken silver and is mottled on the wall, and the red light of the distant tower pulses like the beating of a heart. Lin Fan was half knee-deep in puddles, the torrent was suppressing and growling, and the chain was about to break. He was mentally plotting. The pig-like coward kneeled down to lure the snake out of its hole. The residual electricity in the VR shell of the mind-reading helmet was buzzing, and the brainwave template was implanted with a stable false memory in the middle stage. The rat boy died as the Iron Fox, and the inner ghost's henchmen were upgraded. Water splashed with footsteps, a tall and thin figure jumped out from the shadows, the face was wrapped in black robes and the mask was mist, and the brainwaves were encrypted and stabbed like a needle. Electromagnetic madman. The pig-like appearance is perfect. The blood mist of B-1000 arrows burned my brain, the Iron Fox's brain was shattered and the whole network worshipped. I know Han Zhao's blind spots. Yi Yiji's informant confirmed that the government is biting you and selling them on the black market. His voice was gloomy and trembling, his eyes bulging under the mask were intertwined with fear and admiration, and his palms were spread out to project the ultimate defense map. 50 helmets in the tower were locked layer by layer, the accelerator core code was delayed for 72 hours, and A-level guards patrolled 3 blind spots. Lin Fan pretended to be scared, lowered his head and panted, and scanned his brain waves with the shadow of his blue eyes. The VR helmet pretended to read minds and turned on the OM to fuse with the opponent's prosthetic brain. Memory fragments rushed in like electric current, the real name of the inner ghost is Zhang Ku, a low-level code farmer on the black network. His mind relaxed for a moment, the pig bit the hook and took the bait, and the torrent was suppressed and endured. He raised his head and his blue eyes flashed coldly, picture. Pig brain believes you once, my son's skull will be shattered and the picture will burn me, delaying the code will change my life. Zhang Ku shook his mask, his eyes widened and his voice trembled like a leaf, crazy pig god. My mind reading pokes my fake brain, and my son's S-level superpower is blocked by Han Xiaoji's helmet. The price of selling organs has increased, and the blind spot map is fully opened. The A-level patrol avoids the abandoned furnace on the east side and goes straight into the accelerator. The projection map pulses and expands, and the smell of ozone fills the throat. The encrypted chip falls into the puddle with a bang, and Lin Fan holds the electromagnetic suction in his palm and floats with a buzz. The laser hissed at the alleyway from behind, the black shadow of the A-class guard jumped out with a grin, the air twisted and heat wave roasted his face, and the supernatural fire whipped the iron pipe like a tornado, and the molten slag flew. Zhang Ku's face turned pale, his legs were weak, he knelt down in the water and screamed, "Run the madman pig! A-level fire dragon guards are sniffing my brainwaves and trying to destroy me." Lin Fan roared in a torrent, and the psychological game was instantaneous, pig phase delayed mind reading, chip fusion badge. The black mist exploded and swallowed the alley, and the self-melting blue electricity of the fire whip was rushing around. The guard's eyes bulged and he roared tremblingly, "Rat boy black mist. S+++ torrent. Pig mid-level disguise as a natural chasm." His muscles swelled with a fire shield, and the heat wave's smelly burnt meat hit his nostrils. Lin Fan's blue eyes flashed with a lightning magnetic field. The distorted space buzzed and tore, the air folded like a broken mirror, the body of the bodyguard squashed with a click, blood mist sprayed on the wall and cracked, bone fragments rained down, his eyes widened in fear before death, and he worshipped, the torrent is twisted. God! The body parts sank into the water and bubbled up. Xiao Li's face-lifting white legs trembled like leaves in the wind, and the projection armband flashed the residual code of the inner ghost's private channel. He stuttered and worshipped, "Old. The boss is a wise man, the inner ghost frequency is encrypted to S-level, and the coordinate navigation of the waste pipe in the East District is open, but the forum is hot for sniffing bounties, the rat boy faked his death, and the A-level black net guards are patrolling. Go away, you pig, I will retching and monitor the private video." His eyes were bulging with fear and admiration, and his skinny hands were holding his knees with blood and stinky water, making him breathless. Jiang Chen pounced on the tiger, his bloodshot eyes widened, his muscles bulged and he scratched his shoulders and trembled, "Brother is a pig. Picture of a ghost. The blood burns my legs and makes me feel panicked. The alley is hot and the forum is exploding. A-level fire dragons can cut corpses and dogs sniff the heat. Lin Yuyan's almond-shaped eyes are moist and her breath is hot and her cheeks are flushed and trembling, Brother Fan's brainwaves are linked to the heat, which makes my chest feel tight. The picture data mist protects me, and my heart beats and my legs are beating wildly. So happy. Xiao Li's thin legs shook the projection chip, and his eyes bulged in admiration, Boss Pig's mind-reading skills. Defense map fully activated, A-level patrol blind spot 3, accelerator delay code 72 hours, forum rat boy fake death plus fire dragon crushing smoke upgrade. Everyone gasped in admiration and fear, and the air was reversing and shimmering under the oppression of ozone. Lin Fan sat on the iron table panting, scanning the picture with his blue eyes, and the torrent was suffocating. I got the pig picture, and the general attack is pretending to be confident, but the physical skills are weak, and Jiang Chen's training auxiliary powers, the torrent has a hard foundation before the torrent explodes. Jiang Chen roared with excitement and suppressed, and punched the table with a king that shook the ears, Big Brother Pig is invincible. I will teach you the blood path, strengthen your physique and use it to fight the torrent. The stronghold is wet and slippery. He took off the blood cloth and wrapped his muscles with swollen iron. He grabbed Lin Fan's arm and slammed it, and water splashed. He taught me how to block with electromagnetic micro-discharge assist, and the smell of sweat and blood mixed with machine oil hit my nose. Lin Fan pretended to be cowardly and gasping for breath, playing a psychological game. The pig's body is weak and he relies on the torrent, and his physical skills make up for his shortcomings, reverse and strengthen. In the first round, Jiang Chen pounced on the throat, and Lin Fan's electromagnetic pulse bounced away with a buzz. Jiang Chen stepped back, his eyes widened, and he trembled. Brother is so fast. The pulse auxiliary body is like an iron whip, my legs are burning with blood and I worship you. After 3 hours of continuous fighting, Lin Fan's body was sweating and bloodied, and veins were bursting. The projection flickered on the private video, and Yiji's cold face showed silver hair wet with rain, and her frosty white eyes rarely trembled. Lin Fan, pig phase shielding delay, brain wave residual tracking locks the East District. The government does not bite the flood, secretly sends a pulse amplifier, the blind spot of the abandoned furnace on the east side, fuses the skin to increase the A++ peak, and the general attack is for shelter. The screen is dark, and the aftertaste of ozone is permeated. Xiao Li's legs trembled. Boss, Yiji's informant. Amplifier trap. Lin Fan's blue eyes were filled with gloomy mental calculations. If the game continues, the pig will die if he refuses to increase the amplification, and the convergence will be reversed. Everyone was shocked, and he pretended to be scared and lowered his head. The pigs are gone, the levels will explode before the general attack. As the night deepened, the countdown to 0 reached its peak, and Lin Fan was alone in the blind spot of the abandoned furnace. The smell of burnt plastic and rust filled the air, the broken shadow of the moonlight reflected the broken machine, and the silver box dropped to the ground with a slight buzz. He held the electromagnetic force and sucked it into the skin to fuse with it. The torrent surged and the thunder rolled inside his body. He pretended to be an intermediate level and broke through the A++ peak, and his blue eyes flashed with lightning. Returning to the stronghold, Jiang Chen's eyes bulged and he roared and trembled. Brother's pig aura has changed. The heat wave roasted my blood and burned my legs to softness, and the A++ torrent of divine pressure. Lin Yuyan hugged her waist and flushed and gasped. Brother Fan's heat is linked to make me faint. The amplified pig eats the tiger sky. Lin Fan staggered back into the alley. The black fog gathered in to pretend to be stable, and the chip data flooded into his mind. The defense map was completely solved, and the accelerator code was implanted. The psychological secret joy is the micro-appearance of reversal. The pig eats the tiger with a hook, and the general attack path is opened. The rain whipped his face bloody and mixed with the smell of corpses. He got under the sewer grate and the rust pricked his hand. When he returned to his stronghold, the iron door opened with a bang, and the cold moldy light shone on everyone's faces in shock. The layout was turned on. Lin Fan's badge VR helmet was fully integrated, the intrusion into the Black Network's internal network was buzzing, and the piercing code stream was like an electric snake. The disguised mind-reading helmet was implanted into the brain waves of 10 guards. The data flood came back. The guards' eyes suddenly widened and their bodies trembled, their voices trembled and they roared, "Madman, brain control. Self-explode the tower door." The distant tower exploded with red light pulsing, and the forum's private channel exploded and the dog sniffed chaos. Xiao Li's thin face worshipped him. The boss is a pig control god. The 10 guards self-destruct and blind spots are expanded, and the A-level personal guards are chasing heat. The chase broke out, and the Black Net A-level ice blade superpower rushed out of the abandoned factory. The cold air cut his face like a knife and cracked blood, and the air froze puddles and ice slag flew. Lin Fan's torrent A++ exploded, the electromagnetic distortion space buzzed and folded, the ice blade popped and shattered mirrors reflected and stabbed themselves, the superpower's eyes bulged and trembled in fear. Distortion. S+++ peak pig phase. The torrent space god kills. The body was flattened and ice blood mist sprayed, and the corpse, Gulu, sank to the ground and the smell of frozen meat hit his nose. Jiang Chen pounced on him and shouted in admiration, "Brother, kill the A-level and open the way for blood. The pig is invincible, my legs are soft and I worship you." The iron door exploded like thunder, Lin Fan's blue eyes flashed with thunder, the torrent of A++ tornadoes rolled with muffled thunder, and the rain whipped the night sky and hit his face with a cold and biting mixture of blood and corpses. The smell of corpses filled his nostrils. The moldy air in the stronghold is as sticky as grave soil, the lights in the whole city are completely extinguished and the darkness swallows up the ghostly buildings of the high-rise buildings. Sirens and wolves are howling far and near, and car accidents are booming and sparks are flying. Superpowers are rioting in the streets, and the puppets and ghosts are screaming heartbreakingly. The area on the edge of the power grid has been paralyzed and turned into a sea of jail. Jiang Chen's tiger eyes were bloodshot, his muscles were bulging, his muscles were bulging, his muscles were bulging, and the smell of blood was filled with blood. He punched the iron beam and cracked the spider web. His voice trembled and he roared in despair, "Brother, the pig general attack." The whole city's ghost net exploded, and the black net tower guards rushed out. My legs were burning with blood, and I was panicked and rushed. But, the pig phase peripheral Legion BC level turret lock, the torrent of single blast destroyed the pig to death. His throat rolled like a beast's roar, admiration and fear intertwined with Lin Fan's death lock. The reversal was dim and bright, everyone was gasping for breath, excited and depressed, and the projected defense map pulsed and the general attack road was clear. Suddenly, all the lights in the far city center went out, the night devoured the tall buildings like a giant beast opening its mouth, police sirens screamed and wolves howled, and Han Zhao's brainwaves and ghostly laughter echoed in his head, "Madman, ahead of midnight, the power grid is paralyzed and the riot begins. The towers welcome them, and their heads are peeled off." The rain whip smashes the iron door with a bang bang death knell, the black cloud of crisis presses again, the whole city's ghost network explodes, and the torrent roars. Lin Yuyan's almond-shaped eyes shone with tears and fear, her black clothes were torn with blood and her muscles were soaked with snow. She hugged Lin Fan tightly, her fingernails were embedded in her flesh, blood flowed, and her cheeks were flushed and trembling. But Han Zhao's mind-reading Array 50 helmet swept his brain, and the green plum pig and the pig died and their heads were shattered. The political and business puppets rioted in the city and blew themselves up and screamed. "My fog shield can't stand it." Lin Fan pretended to be cowardly and sat in the puddle, panting intermittently. The half-closed shadow of his blue eyes swept away the crowd, and the electromagnetic storm of the psychological game was tearing apart, the pig phase was pushed down and bounced, the torrent A++ peak fusion amplified the veins on his skin, and the physical skills assisted the increasingly fierce attack to reverse. The second wave at 0 o'clock was preceded by dark clouds. They refused to break out and destroyed the group, and went to death to strip off their skulls and sell their organs. He murmured in a hoarse voice, "It's so miserable." The fog completely blocked the team and rushed to the outside. My torrent pulse paralyzed the edge grid and countered Han Zhao's rhythm. Jiang Chen tore through the defense line with iron blood, Yuyan's badge paralyzed the surveillance, and Xiao Li's smoke dog sniffed. The mind-reading VR plant guard memory layered over B-level, and the fort storm shattered. Everyone. The thunder and despair surged up and gasped, Jiang Chen's throat roared and suppressed, "Brother, you are a pig. I will spread my legs and hold on until the bloody road is over." Lin Yuyan's tears splashed against the water and splashed on her forehead, and her kiss was hot, "Brother Fan, the fog is linked to stay with me forever." Xiao Li's projected navigation showed the gloomy pulsation of the tower of the abandoned power plant. The team's iron shadow fell into the dark alley, the abandoned power plant in the East District opened its mouth like a giant beast, the smell of rust and scorched plastic filled the nostrils, the moonlight was sprinkled with broken silver, the black holes of the forts were locked, and the muzzles were locked and buzzing. Breaking into the blind spot, the laser net hissed and swept the heat wave, roasting the face and cracking the skin. The guard smiled fiercely and threw out the fireball with supernatural powers like a tornado and blasted the iron pipe. The blood fountain exploded and her legs went weak. She knelt down and screamed in despair, "The blood is not burned enough. The fort locks the big brother pig, the whole group is wiped out." Lin Yuyan exploded with mist, shielding the monitoring badge and implanted it into the tower's brain wave. Her almond-shaped eyes trembled in panic. Brother Fan linked up with heat to absorb chest tightness, and the monitor was paralyzed by 30%, but the mind-reading backfired and hurt his brain. Despair weighed heavily on his head like dirt buried in his throat. Lin Fan pretended to be cowered in the puddles and gasped for breath. The chains in the torrent were buzzing and about to break. His blue eyes suddenly flashed and his trump cards exploded. Pigs can endure enough. The A++ peak of the large-scale electromagnetic pulse surged violently, the space was distorted and buzzed and folded like a broken mirror, the black fog swallowed the edge of the power grid and popped, all lights went out, and the ghosts screamed more chaotically. The circuits of the turret group self-melted with sizzling, red light and burst into pieces, and iron filings rained down. The B-class guard's eyes bulged, his body was crushed, blood mist sprayed on the wall, and he roared in trembling worship. The flood, the pulse of the flood paralyzed the internet god. The mid-level pig looks like a natural chasm, and the space is distorted S+++ to kill. The corpse of Gulu sank into the sewage, smelly frozen meat, mixed with burnt plastic, and hit his nostrils. Jiang Chen stepped back, his eyes widened, his muscles trembling and his voice trembling in admiration. "Brother, the pig pulse is against the sky. The edge of the grid is paralyzed, Han Zhao's rhythm is chaotic, the blood path is opened, my legs are soft and worship." Lin Yuyan's almond-shaped eyes are moist and flushed, panting and hot. Brother Fan's heat is linked to the inhalation, and the fog guard monitor is completely paralyzed. The reversal turned bright, and the iron-blooded team charged at the perimeter of the abandoned power plant. Jiang Chen's tiger pounced on the defense line, strengthened his fists, and smashed the B-level remnants, kacha, bone and blood fountain. The smell of sweat and blood filled the air and he roared with excitement and depression, "Big brother, the pig is invincible." The iron-blooded team follows the torrent of blood, and the pig eats the tiger. Lin Yuyan's badge, fog, remote control light network, all black brainwave linkage. Lin Fan's legs were weak due to the heat and his chest was tight. Brother Fan's green plum will always be flushed. Lin Fan's VR helmet pretended to read his mind and activated the fusion layer guard prosthetic brain, and the memory fragments and electric currents rushed into it like a snake. The tower floors were fully solved, the weaknesses of the B-class guards were exposed, and the accelerator core code was delayed for 72 hours to be implanted without any false positives. His blue eyes flashed with cold light and he crushed the levels. The electromagnetic storm exploded and distorted the space to buzz and tear apart. The B-level enemy group's superpower ice and fire whipped to pieces and reflected the blood mist. The guards' eyes widened and they roared in fear, mind reading and brain control. The madman's torrent peak god kill. The middle-level pig pretended to smash our skulls. The rain of corpses fell, smelly blood hit his nose, and the remains of the fort collapsed with a bang, and iron slag flew into the sky. The climax exploded, and the peripheral army collapsed. Suddenly, Yi Ji's cold silver-haired figure led the government agent laser team to rush in. His frosty white eyes trembled with rare excitement, and the pulse gun hissed at the BC remnants to melt the corpses. Lin Fan won the A++ torrent game. The agents teamed up to defeat the peripheral, protected in exchange for a general attack, and the brainwave residual mark reduced the threat. The agent's eyes bulged and he trembled in shock. Team Yi. Space distortion S+++. Intermediate rat piggy god hides. Jiang Chen heroer rushed to tear out blood. Sister Yi secretly helped the blood burn. Big brother pig teamed up with the invincible leg soft worshipper. Lin Yuyan, the fog guard agent's almond eyes flashed with joy. Brother Fan reversed Qingmei's dizzy. Together with the iron fist laser torrent storm, the peripheral army collapsed like a heap of chickens, tiles and dog corpses. The sewage, gulu, was bubbling, and the stinking bloody ozone suppressed the throat. The sirens on the edge of a riot in the city were temporarily suppressed. But Han Zhao's brainwave ghost smile stabbed his brain and reverberated like needles. The red light on the tower pulsed violently, and an array of 50 mind-reading helmets activated the buzzing brainwave scan to lock the whole city. The madman pig bites the hook. The big counterattack is to peel off the brains. The second wave of political and business puppets self-destructs in the street, and the accelerator counts down to 0. The beam of light from the helmet is like a ghost's claw clawing at the brain. Lin Fan pretends to be a mid-level top, cracks and spider webs expand, the torrent of heat surges, thunder explodes in the body, blue veins bulge, his blue eyes are full of lightning, the protagonist-level superpower explodes. The electromagnetic black mist tornado devoured the base of the tower, twisted the space, folded and buzzed, tearing up the air. The helmet array snapped, self-melting circuits shattered, brainwaves backfired, and the guards self-destructed, and red mist sprayed into the sky. Han Xiaoyuan roared and trembled with fear. Torrent. Protagonist-level space divine pressure. Pig-like perfect S+++ bounty explosion. Agent Yi Ji's silver hair flew, eyes widened and frosty eyes trembled. Lin Fan exposed. A++ peak master. The government can't win the game. Jiang Chen's muscles shook and he roared in admiration. The big brother is like a pig protagonist and is invincible. His legs are burning with blood and he is weak in admiration. The peak of the reversal was exhilarating. The tower defense line collapsed, the tower door was half opened and the blind spot expanded, but Han Zhao's sinister ghost claws suddenly appeared, and Lin Yuyan's fog shield was instantly broken. The mind-reading beam locked her apricot eyes. She screamed, her body floated in the air, and the black robe wrapped her away. The blood stains were torn and her hot breath was intermittent. She yelled in panic, "Brother Fan, brain wave linkage is broken. Han Xiao controls my Qingmei's head with a helmet, and the countdown to the final attack is to save me." Lin Fan roared in a torrent, psychologically torn, blue eyes bulged with bloodshot eyes, and the space was distorted. Yi Ji swept the laser and roared, "Lin Fan is a ninja. Agent inside. Sudden rescue, the accelerator core code implantation is delayed, but Han Zhao's personal guard is S-class internal guard." Jiang Chen rushed to the bloody road and roared in despair, Yuyan's sister is captured. The big brother protagonist has the power to explode the tower to save the blood. The ghost net in the city pressed again, the tower's red light pulsed with the death knell, buzzing, the crisis hook barbed the heart, Lin Fan's black mist exploded and the iron shadow sank the tower, and the torrent protagonist level was ready to attack. The interior of the tower is twisted like the intestines of a giant beast. The smell of rust and putrefaction mixed with the burnt circuits assaults your nostrils. The red light pulses like a pounding heart, and sticky rainwater like blood seeping from the walls flows down the grooves and echoes on the ground. Lin Fan's iron shadow wrapped in black mist sank into the half-open blind spot of the tower door. The thunder rolled in the torrent and the veins burst out like steel ropes. His blue eyes were filled with bloodshot eyes and he roared in mental tearing. The VR helmet pretended to read the mind and hummed with the fusion of prosthetic brain fragments flying through the brain like an electric snake. Bite, Yuyan, the pig endured the blood debt and repaid it 1,000 times. But deep in the level, the brainwaves were as dense as an iron wall pressing against the top. S-class guards in black robes and grinning ghosts were probing the brain, and the orbital gun nest was buzzing and accumulating to lock in the heat wave and roast the face, and the skin was cracked and bloodshot. Xiao Li's facelifting white legs were shaking like fallen leaves. The projection armband flashed with private code and the tower was pulsing. He stuttered and trembled in fear, worshipping fear, old, boss pig god. The forum dog sniffs S+++ bounty is hot. There are 20 electromagnetic lock B-level kisses in the turret group outside the tower. Guard patrol, the 3 blind spots were opened, but the A-level blood-constricting road was blocked in advance. The fake death smoke bomb was upgraded to mislead the rats, and I was retching and my legs were weak and I was still watching. My eyes were bulging, sweaty and moldy, and I couldn't breathe, and my thin hands grabbed my knees and the shadows pulsated. Yiji's silver hair was flying, her frosty eyes were white with cold light, her laser gun hissed and the black-robed remnants' corpses were melted, and the sewage and stinky frozen meat hit her nostrils. Her cold lips trembled with rare excitement mixed with despair. Lin Fan couldn't bear it. The agent laser teamed up to cover the game and won, but the S-level tower in the deep mind-reading field crushed the skull, and the accelerator core code was implanted to delay the 72-hour brainwave residual mark to lock the power. The threat is too big, the protagonist's superpowers are exposed, and the government can't bite the pig. The agent team members' eyes bulged and they shook their heads in shock. Team Yi, the ghost network in the tower is pulsing mad. The middle-level rat piglet god is at its peak, and the S-class bodyguard's brain-controlled iron wall pig is dead. The laser heat wave burned the air and whispered to Lin Fan, the mist is linked to share the heat, rescue Yuyan and attack in exchange for shelter. Jiang Chen's tiger eyes were bloodshot and protruding, his muscles were bulging with iron, and the smell of sweat and blood filled the air. He smashed open the side door with his iron fist and, crack, iron slag flew out to cover the cover, his roar was trembling and depressing. Big brother, the S-class guards in the pig tower pounce. Strengthen your physique to resist the blood fever. His legs were weak and he was panicking. The railgun B++ hot locked the pigs to death, but the iron-blooded pigs followed the blood of the pigs and the pigs eat the tigers. The hot blood spurted from the injured shoulder and splashed on the ground. He knelt in the puddle and gasped, his throat rolling like a beast, worshipping Lin Fan's figure locked in fear. Despair is like a grave buried in the throat, the elevator shaft deep in the tower collapses with a boom, iron filings rain down and hit the shoulder bone, causing pain. Lin Fan pretends to be weak and kneels in the puddle, panting intermittently, his blue eyes are half closed, and the shadow sweeps over the crowd. Pig is miserable. The railgun heat locks the S-class brain needle, the torrent pulse single blast pig's dead brain is stripped and sold for organs, refusing to save the words Yan Ming group. Everyone gasped with thunder, and Jiang Chen roared with despair, Big brother, I will spread my legs and worship you. Yi Zhishuang's eyes were moist and trembling, we won the game of pigs, Agent Iron Fist sway. Xiao Li projected garbled characters and shouted with bulging eyes, Big brother, I will save Qingmei Forum with my magical skills. The level battle broke out. The first wave of elite superpowers wrapped their faces in black robes and pounced with a ferocious smile. The brainwave fire dragon A-level whipped the air and hissed, and the heat wave melted the iron pipe slag and flew away. The rat piglet is buried deep in the tower and sent to death. S+++ bounty peels off the head, and Han Zhao's large formation locks the brain to read the heart. The orbital gun nest is, buzzing, filled with blue arcs and jumps to lock Lin Fan. The heat surges and the skin burns and blood bubbles. Lin Fan lowered his head and breathed out dumbly, Pig, the track is so hot. The chain inside the flood body broke and exploded with a buzzing sound. The electromagnetic superpower A++ is at the peak of the protagonist level. The VR helmet pretends to be a mind reader and is implanted in the confidant's brain. Buzz fuses the memory fragments and the current rushes into the brain, the core line of the track's weak point is exposed, and the B7 iron cage in Lin Yuyan's cell is locked by brain waves. The blue-eyed thunder light was fully exposed, the space was twisted and folded like a broken mirror. Lin Fan controlled the electromagnetic rail gun to counterattack with a pop, self-melting red light exploded, shattered iron filings rained down, and the muzzle was reversed to blast the elite group. The fire dragon superpower's eyes widened, his body was crushed, blood mist sprayed and cracked on the wall, his roar was trembling with fear and despair, the flood, the torrent madman's orbital counter-control god kills. The mid-level disguise is S+++, and the skull is shattered and the bounty dream is shattered. The corpse Gulu sank into the sewage, smelly blood, mixed with charred plastic, and frozen meat hit his nostrils, and the orbital wreckage, rumbling, collapsed, covering the sky with dust and smoke, and a heat wave came back to bake his face. Jiang Chen stepped back, his eyes bulged, his muscles trembling, his voice trembling with admiration, Brother, the pig orbital god control is against the sky. S-level elites spread their legs to worship the invincible. Yiji's silver hair fluttered, her frosty eyes trembled and shouted excitedly, Lin Fan wins the game after the protagonist's superpowers are exposed. The laser teamed up with the orbital torrent agent to worship the pig god. The agent's eyes bulged and his voice trembled, space distortion S+++ orbital counterattack. The pig phase kills Han Xiao in a chaotic rhythm. The reversal turned bright, and the team of iron shadows dived deep into the B-level maze. The second wave of Elite B++ Frost Domain blocked the road. Crack, the frozen air pierced the lungs and hurt. The confidant smiled ferociously and tried the brain wave acupuncture test. The pig bit the hook and fell into the trap deep down. Mind-reading array 50-inch. The head of Han Zhao's personal guard S-class was locked, and his head was peeled off. Lin Fan's black mist swallowed up the ice wall, melting water vapor intertwined with heat and cold, choked his throat, and the electromagnetic pulse amplified the orbital residual energy to smash the track in the field, twisting and ejecting ice slag like a rain of arrows through the blood hole in the brain. The elite's eyes bulged, his body shattered into ice, and he roared in despair and regret, protagonist-level torrent, pretending to be a mind reader and implanting a brain to control our prosthetic brain. The dream of bounty fever was shattered, and the head of the Korean boss was completely ripped off. The rain of corpses fell, smelly blood hit the nose, burned the nose, and the stinky ozone compressed the throat, and the maze passage opened up and the blind spots expanded. Xiao Li's thin face, white legs, trembled, and the projection armband flashed, and the deep pulse of the broken code tower was pulsing. He stuttered and retched, worshipping the fear, old boss, the path to the pig god tower was upgraded. The weakness of the Iron Fox prosthetic brain fusion B++ track was exposed, but the brainwaves of the S-class bodyguards backfired and self-destructed the prosthetic brain, and the heat exploded the brain, and the smoke bomb misled the blind spot. The red light of the iron cage cell on the B7 floor pulsed like ghost eyes. Lin Yuyan's black clothes were torn with blood and her muscles were soaked with snow and rain. She was covered in chains and her almond-shaped eyes were wet with panic and flashing with tears. She was screaming with hot breaths and weak brainwave linkage. Brother Fan, reads the mind. The helmet-controlled head is in pain. The mist breaks instantly, and the green plum pig is wrapped in a black robe and comes to the rescue. Han Zhao's confidant guard pressed the brain with a fierce smile, the green plum meat ticket brain control is locked, and the pig prime minister comes to give him death and double the bounty. Lin Fan roared angrily. Explosion, the space distorted and the iron cage, buzzed, tore the chains, broke the electromagnetic pulse and paralyzed the brainwave helmet, pop, self-melting red mist sprayed out, the eyes of the cronies widened and screamed in fear, the torrent reads the mind and bites back. The protagonist god kills righteous brain-broken Han, the boss's plan is exposed. The body was on the ground with stinking blood and hot blood. Lin Fan picked up Lin Yuyan, her waist was soft and warm, smelling of sweat and anxiety. Her almond-shaped eyes were flushed and her cheeks were burning when she breathed and kissed him. The team gathered together to take a breath, and projected the upgrade data of the Iron Fox prosthetic brain to explode on the screen. Han Zhao's ultimate plan is global electromagnetic terror. The core accelerator of the Black Network Tower is linked to the international black market, and the third wave of paralyzed satellite networks, political and business puppets at 0 o'clock. Self-destruction and the spread of ghost networks around the world. Lin Yuyan's misresuscitated remote-controlled light network is all black to share the heat, her legs are soft and her chest is tight, Brother Fan's misprotection monitoring system is completely paralyzed, the final code is exposed for 72 hours and the purchase time is delayed. Jiang Chen roars with admiration, Big Brother saves Qing Mei and exposes the global conspiracy. He worships the invincible. Yi Zhishuang's eyes trembled and her silver hair flew away, Lin Fan won the game of pig gods and the global crisis. The agent's backup was fully activated, but Han Zhao's S-class guards were overwhelmed in the final battle. At the peak of exhilaration, Lin Fan's skin-fused pulse amplifier A++ buzzed with muffled thunder, veins bursting out, and heat waves steaming through his body. His blue eyes were filled with cold light and he murmured, "Pigs can endure it, the ultimate pulse upgrade of the torrent shatters the black web." A large-scale electromagnetic storm exploded, distorting the space and tearing the air with a buzz, and the spider web cracks in the deep walls of the tower expanded. The debris rained down, and the remnants of the B++ elites had self-destruction with the pop reflection of the blood mist. The guards roared with trembling despair and regret, madman torrent protagonist level. The global plan revealed that the bounty dream was shattered, Boss Han tricked us and ripped off our heads and blew himself up. The corpse pile of sewage, gulu, bubbled with burnt smell, bloody ozone and suppressed the throat, and the entire tower defense line collapsed with red lights and ghost-killing screams. But the hook hooked into the heart. Han Zhao's brainwave ghost smile was like a needle pricking the top of the tower, pulsating violently. The S-level mind-reading field was fully opened, and the beam of light was like a ghost claw clawing at the brain to lock Lin Fan's position. The pig-like protagonist bites the hook deeply. The global terror of peeling off the brains of the ultimate realm is launched, and the bounty S+++ is stripped naked by heat. The fog in the realm folds in the top space and backfires, the heat surges, Lin Fan's bloodshot blue eyes bulge and growl, and his heart is torn, Jiang Chen's muscles tremble and the tiger roars in despair, Han Zhao's S-level realm big brother, I will spread my legs and worship you. Yi Ji's laser beam swept his frosty eyes in panic, Lin Fan's domain lock agent delayed the internal attack, but he personally dispatched the pig. Lin Yuyan hugged her tightly with wet eyes, Brother Fan's linkage heat absorption stun will accompany the battle forever. The red light on the top of the tower pulsated the death knell, and the crisis of the final battle exploded. The core room at the top of the tower is pulsing like the heart of a giant beast, the red light beam is buzzing, tearing through the air like a ghost's claws clawing at the brain, Han Zhao's S-level mind-reading field is fully opened, the fog pressure is overwhelming, rust is bloody, ozone is mixed with scorched circuits, the taste is choking and stinging the lungs, and Lin Fan's blue eyes are bloodshot. Thunder exploded in the body, and veins were like steel ropes trying to break through the heat wave. His skin was cracked and bloodshot. He slipped on his knees and fell into a puddle, gasping for air and muttering hoarsely, Han, the domain skull is shattered, the pig was hit by the bounty and stripped naked. The domain's light beam locked the heat. Feelings surged in his brain, like thousands of ants scurrying around. Everyone gasped, Jiang Chen's tiger eyes widened, his muscles bulging, his shoulders injured, blood spurting hot and hot, splattering on the ground. His throat rolled, a wild beast roared in despair, Big Brother Pig territory S, the level is overwhelming. The iron-blooded guard resisted with his blood burning and his legs weak, and he worshipped him invincibly, but Han Zhao's brain-controlled ghost-clawed pig was destroyed. His knees hit the ground, water splashed everywhere, and the smell of sweat and blood filled the air. He clenched his knuckles with fear. Lin Fan's figure was clenched. Lin Yuyan's almond-shaped eyes were moist and flushed, and she hugged Lin Fan tightly. Her waist was soft, the heat was fragrant, the smell of sweat and rain was mixed with anxiety. Her mist revived, the remote control light network, the weak brainwave linkage, shared the heat, chest tightness, weak legs, and wheezing, Brother Fan, the field backfired with heat and fainted. Qing Mei mist protects her. The pig ninja battle will always be with you. Yi Ji's silver hair fluttered, her frosty eyes shivered slightly, and the laser gun hissed as the charged heat wave burned her face. Her cool lips trembled with rare panic and excitement, Lin Fan lost in the pig field locked agent laser game. Mind-reading a large array of 50 heads crushed the global backup, unable to bite the protagonist, his superpowers were exposed, and he was miserable. The agent team member's eyes bulged, his legs trembled, Team Yi. The ghost network at the top of the tower is S-level. Intermediate rat piglet god torrent peak pig death brain wave. Self-explosion. Xiao Li's thin-faced paper-white projection armband exploded with garbled characters on the screen, and his skinny legs knelt down to retching and worshipped, Boss Pig Domain Brain Needle S+++. Iron Fox artificial brain upgraded projection navigation blind spot smoke misleading forum dog sniffing hot fried legs soft kneeling in fear. Han Zhao's brainwave ghost laugh echoed from the top of the tower, like needles pricking his eardrums. He smiled coldly and roared far away, the protagonist-level torrent madman bites the hook deeply. The mind-reading field is fully opened and the brain is peeled off. S+++ bounty is hot. The third wave of global electromagnetic terror is activated at 0 o'clock. The satellite network is paralyzed. Government and business puppets are self-destructing. The ghost network is spreading, and the pig-like bounty dream is peel them all off. The black-robed ghosts of the S-class guards threw out their brains and whipped them with fire dragon whips, hissing, in the heat wave. Molten iron pipe slag flew into the orbital gun nest. The residual energy buzzed, locked the heat lock and surged. Despair was like a tomb buried in the throat. The red light on the top of the tower pulsated and the death knell, dong dong, jumped wildly and the spider webs cracked the iron wall. The glimmer of light was reversed, and the chain inside Lin Fanhong's fluid buzzed, broke and his trump card exploded. The electromagnetic power is A++. Peak protagonist level. VR helmet disguises mind reading and hums. Fusion of prosthetic brain fragments. Electric snake bites. Amplified pulsar. The skin hums and heat waves transpire. His blue eyes are fully exposed and the lightning is twisted. The space twists and folds like a broken mirror. He roars, pigs can endure enough. The torrent of mind reading will bite back and crush your skull. Wei's eyes widened, his body was crushed, blood mist sprayed on the wall and cracked, his roar was trembling with fear and despair. Hong, the torrent madman's domain counter-control god kills. The S-class personal guard's brain-controlled iron wall pig smashes the bounty dream to pieces, Han boss's head is peeled off. The corpse, Gulu, sinks into the sewage, stinky blood, mixed plastic, frozen meat, and hits the nostrils. Jiang Chen, who pounced and tore off his black robe, strengthened his fists and smashed with a click bone-exploding blood fountain. His muscles trembled and his voice shivered in admiration. He shouted in admiration, "Brother, the pig domain has divine control that defies heaven." The S-class guard breaks the iron and blood, spreads his legs and burns softly, worshipping the protagonist as invincible. Yi Ji melted the remnant with the laser, and his frost eyes trembled, and his silver hair flew flying. He shouted excitedly, "Lin Fan wins the game after the protagonist's superpowers are revealed." The laser teamed up with the domain torrent agent to worship the pig god and read the mind of the pig god. The blind spot expanded. Lin Yuyan's mist-linked remote-controlled light network was all black to share the heat. Her almond-shaped eyes were flushed and she was gasping for breath. Brother Fan's mist protector cracked the brain wave residual standard to reduce heat and absorb chest tightness to accompany the general battle. Xiao Li's projection revealed the weakness of the core server, his hands were scratching his knees, sweaty, moldy, water pressure, his throat was bulging, and his eyes were bulging. The boss's mind-reading skills and prosthetic brain are fully solved. Han Zhao's memory exposed forum fried S+++ bounty, dog sniffing panic, kneeling down and worshipping. The iron shadow of the team went straight to the core server room. The blue arc jumped like a dancing thunder snake. The server tower was buzzing with pulsating heat waves and the air was filled with burnt odor. Han Xiao was grinning ferociously in the black robe. The residual pressure in the brain wave field was clawing at the brain. The pig-like protagonist level dives deep to die. The accelerator core code 72H delays the start of the third wave of global terror and peels off the skull. Lin Fan's black mist swallows the remaining fog in the field. Melting water vapor, steaming, hot and cold intertwined in the throat, the electromagnetic pulse increased in a large area, distorted the space, tore the air, wall, spider web, cracked iron slag and rained down. He pretended to be cowardly and knelt down, panting dumbly, "Field, hot pig." The torrent's trump card exploded again with a super-large pulse, boom, pouring red light from the server tower, shattering the circuit board fragments, like a rain of arrows piercing the sky, blue electricity running wild, reflecting and self-destructing. Han Zhao's eyes were bulging, her face was twisted and she screamed with despair and regret, the protagonist's torrent superpulse. The global plan to fake mind reading and implanted brain-controlled artificial brains exposed the source of alien technology. Bounty fever dream shattered the skull and self-destructed. VR helmet mind-reading fusion rushed into Han Xiao's brain memory fragments current biting, the source of alien electromagnetic crystals black market reverse engineering political and business puppets global self-explosion ghost network spread full solution. The server core melted down, flames shot into the sky, ozone was bloody and scorched, and the throat was suppressed. The source of the nationwide network attack was paralyzed, satellite orbits were cut off, and political and commercial systems were blacked out. Chaos and screams echoed in the urban night sky. Jiang Chen retreated, his tiger eyes bulged and roared with excitement and suppression, "Big brother, the pig's super pulse god kills the server to pieces. The iron-blooded worshipper is invincible and the global crisis is bloody and the legs are sore." Yi Zhishuang's eyes were red with rare tremors. Lin Fan won the alien pig god game and exposed the source of the agents to support the global blockade of the black network remnants. Lin Yuyan the almond-shaped eyes were moist and the cheeks were hot with a kiss. Brother Fan linked up with the heat-absorbing Yongmei mist to monitor the paralysis and succeeded in chest tightness and dizziness. Xiao Li's projection data exploded on the screen, and he knelt down to worship and retched. The boss protagonist level mind-reading brain completely stole Han Zhao's alien technology exposure forum myth S+++ bounty evaporated dog kneeling in fear. Han Xiao was seriously injured and vomited blood. His black robe was scorched and his brain wave was intermittent with ghostly laughter. He escaped into the secret passage of the final fortress and the iron gate boomed to seal the residual fog from seeping out. Torrent madman, you exposed the source of the alien crystals, but S+++ hunted down the global black network and took revenge. Lin Fan's skin fusion pulse amplifier passed. The heat wave swelled, veins popped out, blue eyes were filled with bloodshot eyes, and he growled mentally, "The pigs eat the tigers enough, the torrent's supernatural power exposed the government's black network, and they are chasing after each other." However, the aftermath of the fire was baptized, the tower was completely black, red lights extinguished ghosts, intermittent dust and smoke dissipated, the smell of rust and rain faded, and the fresh night breeze penetrated. After the climax it was as calm as the tide receding. The stars loomed in the night sky outside the tower of the waste power plant in the East District. The city lights were rekindled. The satellite network restored the political and commercial system. The blue screen flashed and repair messages roared. The mobile phones of passers-by vibrated and the news was pushed, mysterious hacker paralyzed the black network, the source of terror. The hero who resolved the nationwide cyber crisis disappeared. Xiao Li's projection showed that the forum's hot posts surged, the torrent madman S+++ myth. Bounty evaporates, black network collapses, alien technology is exposed, government blockade is revealed, dogs kneel down and worship. His thin face turned red and his legs softened. He worshipped with a trembling voice, "The boss pig god is the most searched in the world. The Iron Fox prosthetic brain is upgraded, the data is sold off, the forum is sold, the billions of dogs lick the bounty, and the price drops. I'm getting rich, my legs are weak and I'm grateful." Lin Fan smiled lightly, patted his shoulder, blue-eyed thunder light retreated, pretending that his necklace was humming with hidden supernatural powers. "Little pig, you encrypted your data and sold it to the government in exchange for asylum. Pigs eat tigers and have a low reputation." Jiang Chen's shoulder wound was bandaged and the blood dried up. His muscles relaxed and his tiger eyes flashed with admiration. He lightly beat Lin Fan's chest with his iron fist, the heat was hot and the smell of sweat faded away. He growled, "Big brother, protagonist level super pulse is invincible. Iron-blooded, burning legs and soft worship. Following the pig's bloody path, the global crisis is resolved, status is promoted, and the government recruits a strengthened instructor. Please, Pig God will always follow you. Yiji's silver hair was restored and her frosty eyes were rare and soft. She whispered privately, Lin Fan won the protection of Agent Iron Fist in a game. The source data of the alien crystal was reported to the headquarters. The protagonist's abilities were exposed, but the hero badge was encrypted to track the remnants of the Black Network. The global support team was promoted to the Secret Service. Long. The corners of her lips were slightly raised, the blush on her face subsided, and the laser gun was retracted with a crisp click. The agents raised their eyes and shook their heads. Team Yi, the pig god flooded the aliens and exposed S+++. We worship the soft-legged agent and turned into a fan of the global news dog lick. Lin Yuyan's apricot eye drops the moisturizing mist tightened the blood stains on her black clothes and replaced her with a clean jacket. The scent of sweat and rain became fresher. She held Lin Fan's arm tightly and caressed her cheeks with the warm breath. Brother Fan Qingmei will always accompany the mist to upgrade the remote-controlled lights. The intelligence network fully controls the government and hires an undercover expert. He absorbs the heat and chest tightness, makes him dizzy and eats tigers. He gains both fame and status. Lin Fanhong's fluids were filled with thunder, the blue veins subsided, the heat wave cooled down, he scanned the remains of the tower, picked up the encryption chip dropped by Han Xiao, fused the VR helmet, buzzed, upgraded the alien electromagnetic crystal fragments, blue light flash, data explosion, the Black Network's global strongholds were completely eliminated. The list of political and business puppets self-destructed. The source code of the Ghost Network was cracked. The hidden wave of the camouflage necklace enhances the undercover badge's encryption to prevent pursuit. Full of gains, the crystal fusion ability is S-level and the pig god lives a low-key urban life. Everyone gathered outside the ruins of the tower, the night wind blowing and the rain stopped, and the stars were shining. Passers-by watched from a distance and watched on their mobile phones and screamed, "Hero!" The Black Network is paralyzed because of his divine light in the tower. Jiang Chen blocked the crowd from roaring, "Get out!" The pig god worshipped in a low-key manner and retreated. Yiji used laser to intimidate the agents to clear the place. Frost-eyed guards, the secret department has blocked it, and the hero has disappeared. The city was quiet at night, and Lin Fan's team withdrew to the door of a secret rental house. Lao Wang's neighbor, who wandered around and worshipped, Xiao, "Xiao Lin, you are a pig god." The old man witnessed the Togwang News hot search bounty evaporating, and the Black Network collapsed, begging for protection. Lin Fan smiled lightly and threw away the encryption chip. Old Wang's data was sold off to make a fortune, and the pig eats the tiger and the neighbor will always protect him. The lamps in the house were warm and projected. Data flow. Shaoli has stolen hundreds of millions of bitcoins to launder legal funds. Jiang Chen hires reinforced instructor Yi Jisheng, director Lin Yuyan, and intelligence network controls the world. Lin Fan's blue eyes hide thunder and whisper, "The fruits of victory are harvested, the reputation is low, the status is hidden, the crystal fusion, but the overload of superpowers exposes the government's Black Network remnant gangs to hunt down Han Xiao." The ghost laughter echoes in the fortress. The next wave of pigs will bear the blood debt 1,000 times. Jiang Chen's tiger pounced on the ice remnants, strengthened his fists, smashed his bones, and exploded with blood and roared with excitement and suppressed excitement. Big Brother Pig is invincible and blasts continuously. Iron-blooded, burning legs, soft worshipping protagonist level. Yiji's laser melted the frost, and her eyes flushed, which was rare. Lin Fan, pig god join forces to defeat the elites, and the brainwave surplus subtracts the special agent's sudden victory. Xiao Li's projection navigation showed the pulsating skinny legs and the B7 cell and knelt down to worship. Boss's mind-reading skills, artificial brain full solution forum, fried dog sniffing panic S+++ bounty price dropped. The lights in the rental house were as dim as the buzzing of light bulbs in the old days, and the aroma of hot tea was mixed with the smell of rust from the dried blood on Jiang Chen's shoulder injury and the smell of burnt rain remaining on Lin Yuyan's jacket. Everyone gathered around the table to catch their breath, and the hot forum posts on Xiao Li's projection screen were like a volcano erupting, the torrent madman S+++ myth. The black network collapses the alien crystal and exposes the global dog licking. The barrage was flooded with admiration and screams. He lost weight, his face turned red, his legs were weak, his voice was trembling, he was retching and growling, "Boss. Data sold off hundreds of millions of Bitcoin laundering funds, I got rich, my legs were weak and I knelt down, but the remnants of the dark web secretly messaged S+++ bounty to reopen Han Xiaobao." The base ghost laughed at the global stronghold for revenge, the dog smelled the heat, and the panic exploded. Jiang Chen smashed the table with his iron fist, and the sawdust flew into the tiger's eyes, his muscles bulged, and he roared suppressed. The invincible super pulse god kill server smashed the iron blood and burned him, but Han Xiao was seriously injured in the S level. The secret tunnel of the immortal fortress blocked the political and business puppets. The source code of the ghost network was leaked. The two chased each other with weak legs and a panic. How could the pig god wait for the blood debt? Lin Yuyan's almond-shaped eyes are moist and tight, Lin Fan's arms are warm, the breath is caressing the cheeks, and the smell of sweat has become fresh. Her mist remotely controls the light network micro. Weak brain wave linkage shares the heat, chest tightness and sharp breathing. Fan Guqin Mei Yong is hired by the intelligence network to fully control the government, but Yi Zite secretly encrypts the tracking hero badge and exposes the superpower's dual crisis fog guard cracking array aftermath. The legs are weak, joy, dizziness and fear are intertwined. Yi Ji's silver hair was restored and her frosty eyes turned cold. The laser gun closed its shell with a crisp click. Her private video projection showed red lights flashing in the headquarters. Drones buzzed and night shadows outside the window. Cold and glamorous lips trembled. It was rare to panic. Lin Fan won the game and the source of the alien was revealed. Agent Iron Fist protects global backup director Kaisheng, but the government's black network is chasing the main character Torrent to expose the S-Class Edge Crystal Fusion, Heat Wave, Blue Veins, Surveillance Drone, Lock Bounty, Hot Bomb, Special Secret, Surveillance Dog, Kneeling on Soft Legs, Worshipping the Pig God, How Can It Be Low-Key? Lao Wang's neighbor is wandering at the door with a thin face, white eyes, protruding legs, shaking sieves, pushing the door, kneeling and retching, Xiao Lin Pig God. The old man split the stolen data and made a fortune forever. Witness the Togwang News hot search, but the black net remnant Lao Wang black market wire report Han Xiao Fortress Eastern Suburbs abandoned nuclear power station underground 3-story S-Class guards reunited with the alien crystal spare core to accelerate the third wave of global electromagnetic terror 72-hour countdown brain the blood debt is 1,000 times, my legs are weak and I am asking for help. The air in the house is as stagnant as the grave soil pressing down on the throat, and the urban night wind outside the window is mixed with the distant sirens and the blue screen repair message of the political and commercial system roars. The mobile phones of passers-by vibrate the news push, the remnants of the black network are revenged. The bounty torrent is being chased by madmen all over the world. Despair swallowed everyone's throats like black mist. Jiang Chen's tiger roared, clenched his knuckles with iron fists, his muscles turned white, his muscles swelled with iron, his shoulders were injured, and blood was about to spurt out. Brother Pig God double chased the fortress ghost net's S-Class guards with iron-blooded strength, resisting the blood, weak legs, burning heart, panic, worshipping invincible. But 72 hours of global terror paralysis the political and business affairs of the paralyzed satellite exploded and the pigs were wiped out. Xiao Li projected garbled code and exploded on the screen. His skinny legs knelt down with sweat and moldy water pressure, and his eyes bulged. The boss's brain upgrade Iron Fox plus Han Zhao's memory fully solved the black network stronghold but the fortress encrypted alien crystal spare core blind spot misleading forum dog sniffing hot legs kneeling softly in fear, the data is useless. Lin Yuyan's almond-shaped eyes are moist and flushed, the fog revives, the brain wave is linked to heat, the chest is tight, and the legs are weak. Brother Fan's fog protection intelligence network sweeps the fortress secret passage, but the residual pressure in the S-level field, the brain-controlled Ghostclaw pig, dies, and Qingmei will always be in despair. Yi Zhishuang's eyes trembled with cold light. The heat wave of light storage burned his face and his lips trembled. The secret backup aided the global blockade, but the protagonist was exposed and lost in the game. The surveillance drone killed the pig. Lao Wang's thin face was twisted and he knelt down to worship. The pig god protected Lao Wang's line report, but the guard's fire dragon whip orbital cannon nest was revived and the bounty was stripped naked and his legs were weak. Lin Fanhong's fluid was filled with thunder and then exploded, the chain, buzzed, broke and his trump card exploded. VR helmet camouflage mind-reading fusion encryption chip alien electromagnetic crystal fragments blue light flashing brain electric snake bites amplifying pulsar skin buzzing heat waves steaming blue veins bulging like steel cables blue eyes thunder light fully exposed space twisted and folded like a broken mirror. He pretended to be cowardly and sat down, panting and muttering hoarsely, pigs and ninjas are chasing each other. The ghost network in the fortress is so hot. Everyone gasped with thunder, and their eyes were wide open, their bodies were crushed, sweat, stench, and blood filled the air, and the glimmer of light was reversed, the torrent was on the edge of S-level the large-scale electromagnetic pulse pre-explosion hidden wave camouflage necklace buzzed and the hidden superpowers were fully activated, roaring, the pig eats the tiger enough. The crystal fusion mind reading completely solves the blood debt of the fortress's blind spot raid. 1,000 times. On the projection screen, Han Xiao's brain memory fragments are fully exposed by the current bite, the third underground layer of the abandoned nuclear power plant in the eastern suburbs of the fortress. Jiang Chen's eyes widened, his muscles trembled, his voice trembled in admiration, brother, pig crystal fused with S-level torrent divine control, heaven-defying. The iron-blooded road spreads legs and melts to worship the protagonist, the invincible fortress, all blind spots are exposed. Yiji's silver hair danced wildly, her frosty eyes trembled, and the laser scanned the window. The drone hissed, melting the heat wave and roasting the air. She roared excitedly, Lin Fan won the pig god game, special secret transfer alliance, laser teamed up with global support, fortress raid agent worship pig exposure and won. Lin Yuyan's mist-linked remote-controlled light network is all black to share the heat. Eyes flushed, he gasped and hugged tightly, Brother Fan cracked the fortress with mist, the brainwave residual mark was reduced, the heat was absorbed, the chest tightness was absorbed, and the general war was dizzy. Xiao Li's projection showed the entire path of the fortress, his skinny hands were grabbing his knees, his sweaty throat was pressed, his eyes were bulging, and he shouted, the boss's mind-reading skills are perfect. The core weakness of aliens in Han Zhao's fortress was exposed in the forum, and the S+++ bounty dropped in price. The dog sniffed in panic and knelt down to worship and make a fortune. Old Wang's face was slimmed down, his legs were weak, his eyes were bulging, the pig god's information upgrade blind spot navigation, Old Wang Yong's leggings are soft and he is kneeling down to thank you. The team of Iron Shadows rushed to the abandoned nuclear power plant in the eastern suburbs at night. The night wind is mixed with radiation, ozone corrodes, and the smell of rust stings the lungs. The hidden iron gate at the entrance of the fortress is buzzing with red light. The ghost claws are clawing at the brain. Han Zhao's brainwaves are still shouting in the distance, the torrent madman bites the hook deeply. The S-Class Personal Guard Fire Dragon Whip Orbital Cannon Nest is fully opened with the alien crystal spare core. Accelerate the third wave of global terror, peeling off the bounty and blasting it. The black-robed ghosts of the bodyguards threw out brain needles, fire dragon whips, hissing, the heat wave melted the ground, and the orbital gun nest's residual energy locked the heat lock and skyrocketed. Desperation was like a grave buried in the throat. The red light pulsated in the underground, and the death knell, dong dong, jumped wildly and the spider webs cracked the iron wall. Jiang Chen's tiger pounced and tore off his black robe, strengthened his fists and smashed the bone-exploding blood fountain. His muscles trembled and roared, iron-blooded and strong against the S-Class guards, the blood-burning legs are weak, and the big brother pig god is invincible. Yiji's laser scanned the fire dragon's frosty eyes, we teamed up with the pig god in the secret laser game to win the remaining party to pieces. Lin Yuyan's mist remote-controlled light network paralyzed the rail cannon and her almond-shaped eyes stared closely. The mist protects Qingmei and will always accompany the heat. Lin Fan's blue eyes were filled with bloodshot eyes, thunder exploded, heat waves steamed through his body, and his skin was cracked and bloodshot. He slipped on his knees and fell into a puddle of radiation, gasping for breath and muttering, "Fortress. S-class pigs die." The guard smiled ferociously and stabbed with brain waves. Thousands of ants crawled around and everyone gasped, legs weak, reversed and exploded. Electromagnetic power, S-class torrent, VR helmet, mind reading, fusion, crystal blue arc, dancing wildly, space distortion, tearing the air, large-scale pulse, boom, furious fire dragon whip, self-melting, guard's eyes widened, body crushed, blood mist spraying, wall cracking, roar, trembling and fearful, flood. Flood S-class god-killing field counter-control. The bodyguard's brain-controlled iron-walled pig smashed the bounty dream into pieces, and the head of Boss Han was completely peeled off. The body parts of Golu were buried in sewage, smelly blood mixed with burnt plastic and frozen meat, and the track debris collapsed and covered the sky with dust and heat waves. The beast's heart pulsates in the core room on the third floor underground. The red light beam of the extraterrestrial crystal backup core buzzes toward the air. Ozone is filled with blood and burns. Han Zhao's black robe is charred and blackened and seriously injured. He vomits blood. The brainwave ghost laugh field is full of fog and pressure. Protagonist level torrent deep dive to die. The crystal core code accelerates the third wave of satellite paralysis. Government and business self-destruction. Ghost network spreads and global skull peeling S+++. Lin Fan's black mist swallowed up the remaining mist in the field, melting water vapor, steaming, interweaving heat and cold, choking his throat. The ultimate electromagnetic pulse amplified the field, distorted the space, shattered the iron wall, smashed the slag and rained down. He pretended to be scared and knelt down to gasp, "It's so hot." The torrent's trump card was the final explosion of the Super S-level pulse boom, which violently poured out the crystal core. Red light exploded, shattered the circuit board fragments, arrows rained down, and blue electricity violently reflected and self-destructed. Han Zhao's eyes were bulging with frost, his face was twisted and he screamed in despair and regret. The ultimate pulse of the torrent, the alien crystal's plan to destroy the whole world is revealed, and the brain will be ripped off and self-destructed. The VR helmet reads the mind and rushes into Han Zhao's brain. The ultimate memory current bites, the source of the alien, the ultimate conspiracy of the Black Network, full control of politics and business, global superpowers, cleansing and self-explosion of the Ghost Network forever. The core melted, flames shot into the sky, ozone choked the throat with blood, and the national network was permanently paralyzed. Satellites were disconnected, politics and business were black, the screen was black, and screams echoed in chaos. Jiang Chen retreated, his tiger eyes bulged and roared excitedly, "Brother, the ultimate pulse god kills the core to pieces. Iron-blooded worship of the invincible global crisis will always open the bloody road and the legs will be soft and burning." Yi Zhishuang's eyes flushed and trembled. Lin Fan finally won the game of pig gods, aliens, full exposure, secret global blockade, and the Black Network will collapse forever. Lin Yuyan's almond-shaped eyes were wet and her cheeks were hot with a kiss. Brother Fan, the linked heat-absorbing and mist-monitoring paralysis made Jiang Chen feel dizzy with chest tightness and joy. Xiao Li's projection data finally exploded and he knelt down to worship. The boss protagonist level mind-reading mind-stealing Han Zhao's ultimate exposure forum myth forever S+++ evaporates the dog to kneel down. Laowang Yuanyuan reported online to slim down and worship. The pig god's fortress shattered Laowang to protect his wealth forever. Han Zhao's corpse was charred and black, his head was broken and ghostly laughter was intermittent. The remaining fog dispersed. The fortress was completely black. Red lights extinguished dust, smoke and rust. The smell of radiation was light and fresh. The night breeze seeped in. Lin Fan's skin fusion pulse overload buzzed, the heat wave bulged, blue veins popped out, and his blue eyes were bloodshot and he growled, "Pigs eating tigers are famous in the city, and the S-level torrent of superpowers grows and the crystals are forever fused, but it is exposed that two people are pursuing the government's secret surveillance. The Black Network Ghost Network source code is leaked. And the source code of the Black Network is leaked, which is a greater alien threat." Everyone gathered, the night wind blowing in the ruins and the stars blowing on their faces. Passers-by watched from a distance and recorded on their mobile phones, screaming, "Ultimate hero. The Black Network will be destroyed forever." Jiang Chen blocked the crowd and roared, "Go away." The pig god worshipped in a low-key manner and retreated. Yi cleared the area with lasers and frost-eye protection, secret blockade of the hero's disappearance for global backup. The lights of the city light up again at dawn, and the news roars, the torrent madman finally destroyed the Black Network's alien conspiracy and fully exposed it. The global crisis resolves the S+++ myth. We reunited in a rental house with warm lights, the smell of hot tea was fragrant, and laughter was whispered. Xiao showed off his wealth. Jiang Chen's instructor hired Yi, director of the billionaire fund. Lin Yuyan, the intelligence network controller. Lao Wang made a fortune forever. Lin Fan's blue eyes concealed thunder, clenched his fists, and the torrent was slightly palpitating. The fruits of victory are full, growing into an S-class pig god in a low-key daily life, but outside the window, drones buzzed, black nets, ghost nets, and residual news flashed as signs of alien origins. The next wave of blood debts were counterattacked by pigs with 10,000 times their blood debt. The soothing achievements are like a warm current washing away, and the excitement is endless. The crisis is lurking, and everyone's eyes are firmly worshipping. Lin Fan smiles in the night shadow, and the torrent is ready to come. The soothing sense of accomplishment was like a warm stream washing over the body. Everyone gathered around the table and whispered with laughter as Jiang Chen devoured meat and roared, "Big Brother is invincible." Lin Yuyan cuddled up with tears of joy in her almond-shaped eyes, "Always stay with me." Yi Jiwei's eyes softened with frost, "We win the game." Xiao projected his wealth to show off his thin face and blushed, "I want to worship you when you get rich." But at night, outside the window, there were government drones buzzing and the black net remnants secretly signaling that the S+++ bounty had been reopened. Lin Fan clenched his fists and the torrent was slightly palpitating. The aftertaste of the crisis was lurking and burning.